Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 314 of the SpawnCast. Sean in good spirits over here.
Hey, you know what? 1 down, 3 to go. Everyone doubted us. Everyone made fun of us. I said Nixon 5. We're well on the way.
Well, no, how many? No, that's more than 3. You gotta win. Like, how many games do you have to win to for the whole thing?
4.
Okay, John. We're talking about the series. We take it a series at a time. You don't put the cart before the horse.
You gotta win like 15 games, don't you? Something like that.
You don't put the cart before the horse.
So it was a good win. I'll say it was a when he said that he's talking about me doubting them because I be talking shit to him all the time. It was a good win. I will say that.
Nobody had our backs, but I had faith.
That's because you were shilling. What's his name? That horrible player that you went and bought a jersey for.
Yeah, well, that was because he was great.
Kimball Lock. That's because you were shilling Kimball Walker.
I've always liked.
This is SportsCast.
How are you doing over there, Sean? You good?
We're doing great. We won.
Okay. Good. Let me go over here. We got Miss Click. Miss Click's here again. Good to have Click here.
Yeah. No, good timing because I know we got to talk about that the little thing that happened this week called the freaking Zelda trailer.
Yeah, we will talk about the Zelda trailer. We'll do that first though, because Click does have to run, so she'll be here at least for the Zelda talk before all things break down with Xbox and Redfall. So that'll be fun. Let's see. Josie's here.
All right.
Good to have Josie here. Good. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. We turned 20, chat, so that's
20.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Wow. Okay.
April birthdays. Woo woo.
April.
How does it feel to not be a teenager anymore, Josie?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Good.
Look at that.
Feel
Those are the days.
a whole
It's
new
all
decade.
downhill. All downhill from here, Josie.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
God.
Tell you what.
I peaked in
not true.
high school. That's bad.
It gets
I feel
better.
that.
It gets better before it gets worse.
Oh, yeah. doesn't bode well for me then.
I finished
Like, I'm
Fusion
not
too.
in the worst
Metroid
place.
Fusion. Finally finished that.
Hell
So-
yeah.
What's after Fusion? Are you just playing like all the Metroid games then?
Yeah, I got to play Zero Mission still.
Zero
so once
Mission.
that comes to
Wait,
Um,
so where do you rank Fusion then in your list?
Fusion is my second favorite. I like Dread and then Fusion and then Super.
That's fair.
I like Super, but Fusion was really fun. And I like the linearity of it, which nobody else likes, but I thought it was really helpful.
Okay. Very
That's
good.
fair.
Very good. We got Jordan Fringe returning once again.
You know, you keep saying returning. I've been here for 3 weeks in a row. The
He
return
is.
is like a stay. You know, I'm off my vacation. We're here.
It's good to have
be
Jordan here. Glad to have
I
Jordan.
mean, I hope so. Can't wait to be told to talk more or talk less. We'll see what it is today.
we got OJ Player Essence holding down the pre-show.
Pre-show was fun. Lots of people coming through. It was a very spirited episode or very spirited stream, so I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Good to have OJ here. We got MVG
Hello. It's great to be here.
stuff good, and then Evan's here.
Yep.
All right, cool. So it was actually a pretty good week. A lot of stuff to go over. The Zelda big final trailer dropped. Entire internet exploded. So a lot of stuff to talk about there. Redfall, Xbox. Has been a great week for Xbox. We'll touch on what happened there. Final Fantasy 16, big state of play. All on the same day. Zelda and Final Fantasy 16. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. And then somehow Sega is about to make a $1 billion acquisition. That was announced on Friday, kind of out of nowhere by the Wall Street Journal, who I guess got early word on it. So interesting stuff going on over there in Sega's neck of the woods. Let's start with the Discord question, Evan, then we're going to go right into the Zelda stuff, actually.
Let's do 2 quick ones. If you could forget any game and relive playing for the first time, what game would it be?
That's
Metal Gear
tough.
Solid 3.
You know, I'm actually going to agree with Sean. Metal Gear Solid 3.
If the story wasn't so convoluted, I would say Metal Gear Solid 3. But for me, Chrono Trigger, just because I still feel that's one of the greatest of all time. Like you can still play it right now, and be like, man, this is awesome. So
I'd say Mario Galaxy.
If I could do a whole series, it would be Plague Tale front to back.
Ooh,
Oh.
good
I
pick.
think there's only one answer for me. Well, they all said it, so I don't have to.
And I guess
Which one though?
Huh?
all of them, the
The
whole
first one?
franchise.
I mean, I play the whole franchise, absolutely. But the first game for me was the game that did it. So
So are we talking about like we experienced the same feeling all over again?
No,
Like
well, from the wording, it's literally just you forget the game existed and now you're playing it, which kind of kills most MMOs because if I played WoW again, like I think 3 of the people I played with are dead. So like,
damn, you can you can play WoW with me,
Let's
Evan.
go, dude.
it wouldn't be as
You should
fun.
play WoW with me. Let's do some PvP. Get some 3v3s going on. I'll be your
If Evan goes down that World of Warcraft rabbit hole, it's over.
It's just not as fun without
we
that
won't see him
group.
again.
That it was a
I'll play
60-person
300.
group that was awesome.
Damn.
And they're not around.
I'll go with Ocarina. It's
I was
Ocarina
gonna
time.
say
Okay.
Ocarina.
Yep.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was for me. It was between Ocarina or Final Fantasy VII because those are such pivotal moments in gaming. So it was between the two of those.
Mm.
Yeah, the other quick one, Evan.
And I guess for the segue, is Tears of the Kingdom already Game of the Year?
I mean, it's got to come out first. We got to play
Yeah,
it.
you gotta
play it. Gotta play it.
It's in the
Gotta play it.
conversation.
It's in the conversation.
It's definitely the conversation.
Yeah,
It's in the
obviously.
conversation.
But 2023 looking pretty good right now. I got to admit, there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. A lot of hype, anticipated titles. So
You know, the Game Awards should have like best trailer for the year, and that way it like challenges the marketing team to like have original trailers for their games and not use like
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be kind of
random
cool.
rap songs,
Sure.
or random I need a hero in the trailer.
Yeah, I wouldn't
movie.
mind that. That's not a bad idea because
Yeah.
they give the marketing team some shine and stuff. There's a lot
Yeah.
of creative thought goes into those trailers.
Yeah.
But speaking of trailers, we did have the final Zelda Tears of the Kingdom last big push, I should say, because they'll probably do something else when the game comes out. You know, hey, it's out now, a minute-long trailer. So this was basically the Zelda trailer from the end of that Nintendo event that showcased the Switch for the first, really showcased it, and they ended it with Breath of the Wild. This was basically that, nearly 4 minutes long. A lot of stuff. How long are these analysis videos? Got to be hours long because there was cut to cut. Stuff is just constantly thrown at you. Story,
Zeltic had
gameplay.
a really good one. It was fantastic. His was about an hour and it was very good. So.
Wow, yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
pausing every second for that. Jeez, but
Pause.
it's exploded online. It is #1 trending. It might still be #1 trending. It's been like that for I think 48 hours or something. Easily got 6 million views in no time.
6 million
So
plus views.
He was pretty
Crazy.
excited about this game. What did everyone think of the trailer though?
It was all right.
It was all right. Sean had to censor his title. He had like the look
Yeah,
and
you
everything in that thumbnail.
Good on trending
Honestly,
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has one of my favorite reactions because it's like, you know, people are gonna assume that I'm gonna cry. I didn't. It didn't fall. It doesn't count. There's like HMK and Roger, like you expect like our genuine like hype men because they're really like that in person. But then Sean over here is like, I guess I'll like get in on this bag too. I'm a normal
Well-
reactor. Like I'm gonna be normal. And then halfway through, he's like, holy shit. He's like, sorry. And he's just like, oh, I'm trying.
No, I
not
said
to be
fuck.
over.
I try not to say fuck too much in my videos.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but like
Sean
they were
reacts to the
fighting
Knicks the
so
way that
hard. It was
they
so
would
good.
react to the Zelda trailer. So Sean has no reason to talk that, no room to talk.
It was so good, dude. One of my favorites.
The trailer was really good. It definitely had that moment halfway through where they kind of remixed the original theme into it with all the shots that were happening with the action, the build up, and right to the end. That was well done, well put together. I will give them that.
If you take the editing and the pacing between the 2017 trailer and this one, they're almost like side by side. Like they pretty much were just like, hey, this formula worked. We're going to do this again and then up the ante a little bit because now we're actually going to be able to show Ganondorf or Demise or whatever we want you to think, plus these new characters, or maybe
that furry dragon lady.
yeah, you know.
Like, who is that?
I don't know. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
but there was one thing missing from the trailer that no
There were
one's
no
talking
doors,
about. That's what
Jordan.
I'm saying. No one is
doors.
bringing up the fact there was a lack of doors in the trailer. That's the only thing holding it back from being greatness.
I know it.
But aside from that, this is the best video game trailer I think I've seen in maybe the last decade. Like, I can't think of anything else that has been that, like, the pacing, the editing, the excitement. If we thought we knew anything about this game last time we saw a brief, bit of like explaining what's happening in the game, we know nothing. This game looks ridiculous. It looks like they've changed up so many things. I don't know. That was such a good trailer. I'm excited, and I think everyone collectively just like sat around that whole hour after it dropped and was just like, I just need to like go for a walk or something. That was a lot.
Decompress. The decompression
Yeah,
after
it was a
the-
lot.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was great. It was fantastic.
I knew it was good because Jordan actually said something on Twitter. I'm like, oh shit, Jordan's
I
talking
know.
about video games.
You
I was
tweet
like,
about
damn.
video game? Ooh, something happened.
Yeah, I know.
So big deal though. The Ganondorf's in this one. Big deal. Obviously, it's the people are mentioning it. And I thought about like, wow, it really has been that long. Twilight Princess, the last time that the three main characters, Zelda, Link, Ganondorf, all in the same game together.
Mhm.
That it is weird when they tell you it's 17 years ago, and you're like, wow, it really was that long ago for Twilight Princess.
I feel like they have bridged the gap kind of decently in a way though between Hyrule Warriors and Smash Brothers. So like we have seen the reoccurring characters. And obviously like Hyrule Warriors, there's tons of content and there's been 2 of them since. So like I get it. It kind of like helps us forget. But yeah, when you do actually think of the last mainline title where you really like you see them all together as a canon storyline, it's insane because like I still remember where I was beating Twilight Princess and I can't believe it's been 17 years since then, you know? So man, Ganondorf looks amazing as well.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
I like the idea of bringing in this big bad, this antagonist right away, and just like they go right into the game showing you that you're not gonna have like I'm replaying Breath of the Wild now, and I'm actually almost done. I just finished the last Divine Beast, and I'm getting stuff together for the Master Sword and all of this. But the entire time they just talk about this ominous cloud over there, basically that's Ganon floating around, and it doesn't feel that threatening at all the whole time. I'm just kind of wandering around, and you just run into enemies that way. But this looks like right off the bat, you're basically Link's going to get slapped by Ganondorf because it shows his arm getting all chewed up by that stuff, and I guess the Master Sword does too, and he just looks like a very threatening presence right away. So I like that a lot. I like that direction a lot. It feels way darker too, the way they were showing the trailer in terms of its tone. I guess even more violent, you could say, because Link, they show his arms like all charred up and everything. So it's looking good. I like what I'm seeing here with they have like the big mechanized, I don't know, you build something and it's like going against the big enemy. And it's like 2 kaiju like monsters fighting each other you built out of stone and stuff. So I like what I'm seeing. MEG, what do you think about this trailer?
Loved it. I think the last time we talked about this game was when we saw the previous trailer. And remember, I said I had some, not concerns, but I was a little hesitant about this time around because I felt like maybe it's just going to be more of the same. I'm going to not be as invested in this world as much because the first game had such a sense of wonder and exploration because it was the first time we had seen it. But this trailer really kind of just reaffirmed how excited I am to play this game. So I think it was massively edited, and whoever did the editing deserves a pay rise because they did an amazing job on this one. And I think the game is looking good, and I can't wait to play it. I think it's gonna score high, and like I said previously, it'll be in the Game of the Year conversation without a doubt. So I'm looking forward to it.
Josie, what do you got over there?
I'm super excited as well. I thought, again, like everyone said, the trailer was awesome. I didn't catch most of the stuff on the first time, like watching it, because it was just so fast. And then when I went back through it, it was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, Ganon's in here. And I thought it was Demise originally with the hair and stuff. So I got kind of hyped as well. And I'm just excited to see where they take the story and everything else. But I think this was exactly what we needed, because last time we talked about how it's probably not enough, or I said that it wasn't enough probably to just have that gameplay presentation, that they got to get people hyped in some other way. And I think this trailer absolutely did it. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, you can see like the sales charts. This thing is like at the top of all of them, and everyone's really hyped for this game. So it's it definitely did its job with that trailer. A lot of exposure for a game that people already, a lot of pent up anticipation for it. OJ, what do you think over there when you're looking at this? You live streamed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I live streamed just before, and after, and yeah, it was cool. Everyone was really excited. There was like there was like thousands of people watching it there with me just for a 3-minute trailer. So, but I knew that it was gonna be something special because Nintendo, they announced a live stream for a trailer. So we knew that. I mean, I went into it knowing that I went into it knowing like, okay, it's gonna be it's probably gonna be something substantial like we got in 2017. So yeah, it was really good. I liked the trailer. I like the pacing of it was dope. Like kind of echo what everybody else is saying here. It looks fun. I thought, maybe that's, Demise, but then it's okay. Maybe it's just the Malice. You know, so what I liked about it though, like some of like the systems built around the game, like it looks like you're gonna have like turf wars or something, like with like you know, you can recruit different types of the races of Hyrule
Okay.
and like fight. So that looked pretty cool. And then they also showed off because some people were complaining like, oh well, you know, it was like, I don't want to just like fuse together rocks and stones, but like people don't think sometimes. It's like, no, you're gonna be able to fuse together really cool weapons because like you're gonna be able to get like a bunch of cool weapons. So it was dope to see actual advanced weapons like the great sword and like a shield. And I think what do you put like a shield and a rocket, like a Zonai rocket together, and you like blast it off. Like so stuff like that just shows the creativity. That's what I really thought was cool. And it was I knew that stuff would be in there, but it's cool to actually like see it being applied. You know, and then they made like some ghetto, what was it, like a tank or something like that, or like a mech.
Did anyone
stone mech? That was cool too.
Did anyone with all these analysis videos? Did anyone like figure out if we are going to shrines to try to upgrade stamina and health, or is there some other thing that they've spotted in any of the HUD or anything?
I think it's like challenges. It looked like in the air, like when he's kind of like doing those like anti-gravity steps. It looks like there's like obstacle courses or something like that, or when he's, you know, Mission Impossible and like maybe stuff like that could be in relation to like challenge shrine.
You know, I wouldn't mind, Jordan, now you're saying that. I wouldn't mind if instead of going to a shrine and then basically being taken to a room somewhere, that it basically teleporting you to a very controlled area. If you did all of your puzzles or challenges just in the world, like there's no loading screen transfer over here to this room that we've set up very carefully that you can't climb because we have to take that away from you to make it more interesting. If they just have it out in the world and you can have different ways to complete it just from the environment itself with Ultra Hand and stuff. So that would actually be kind of cool. I don't know. That's the part I'm curious about. Dungeons versus shrines versus divine beasts. Go ahead, Josie.
I'm thinking it makes the most sense to have the shrines as sort of just overworld obstacles, and if you get through it, then you get some cool reward. Because we can even see him like dropping on this big sphere, and like that, I think that there's not going to be a loading screen there to take you into that to have a separate shrine. So I feel like it would make sense to have more things in the overworld, and then plus that could give us some opportunity to differentiate those from actual dungeons, I think.
Also, the website updated, and it looks like they're going to have kind of a Great Plateau area, but it's going to be a sky island that you start on, and then you work to gain your abilities, and then I assume you're just going to swan dive off of it onto the ground. So that'll be kind of cool. That'll be like the big moment when you jump off the side.
I ripped that off Warzone though.
Got off War. I mean, we looked at it immediately and we're like, that's Fortnite or Warzone. This is what you do when both of those, you just dive off the side. And Link even does the straight up, like where I was putting my head right to the ground, kind of.
Didn't Link did that in Skyward Sword though? Before all that,
He did.
If you jumped off a certain bridge in Ocarina, he did it as well.
Yeah, like hold up here. They didn't create skydiving, or was it like?
Hey, but they have the parachute. What's Link have now? The glider. Yeah. But it's Shaw, what do you got on here? You were the one who was a little skeptical.
Yeah, no, I was totally skeptical, but no, they did a really good job with it, and I think it's time. Like I said in today's video, if you haven't watched it yet, I think it's time to accept that video game marketing has really changed. You know, yes, you have outliers like Final Fantasy 16, which we're going to talk about later, where it feels like you've seen so much of it, games like Deathloop as well, but a lot of the bigger titles, because God of War Ragnarok was pretty similar to this as well. You had so many people like, oh, it just looks like, you know, that's the same game, and then like about a month before the release, you got a trailer for the game, and it was like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, you know, this is very different. And like that's what this moment was. You know, it was the same sort of moment where it's like, okay, there are a lot of very different things. Do I think it'll have the same sort of wow factor that Breath of the Wild did the first time you played it? I think that's a very high mark to hit, but I think what I saw in that gave it a better chance to, you know, be at least sort of up there with that sort of wow factor.
Okay.
I think the factor that's going to separate it from Breath of the Wild is going to be probably a little bit more of a beefier story. And that's going to be kind of how a lot of people love Breath of the Wild. It kind of just let you do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, or to just not do anything at all and go straight for the boss. Like I remember in their presentation, that's what they told us. Like, we want you to be able to just go straight to the boss if you want with a stick. Good luck. And I feel like this way, maybe it's kind of like that, but I feel like the story is, I personally hope it's not so much of like a flashback kind of scenario again. And I said too in my video is I really hope it's kind of like that Skyward Sword setup where Link and Zelda are off at the exact same time doing their own things, but instead of us getting Zelda's side in the credits, spoilers, it's you're actually like seeing her half happen hand in hand with Link's. And I think that that's going to be so cool because it'll give the other characters that we're going to be experiencing kind of a little bit more weight. So when Link meets them, we kind of probably already have like a premise. I think the other thing too, though, is I love Matthew Mercer as a voice actor, and him being the voice of Ganondorf, I feel like is such a good choice because he's just so talented. Even if he's given like the smallest role, like he's in so many video games. If people haven't really paid attention to kind of his, it's not a filmography. What do they call him for voice actors? But I think it's just incredibly exciting. And the other thing I will say, because I know we have to move on, is I love the fact that Breath of the Wild is a game that still to this day is constantly being challenged and broken and experimented with. I mean, we even have people doing, you know, like the multiplayer and mods and stuff, which I know Nintendo does not like, but that's besides the point. Is I love the fact that from what everybody's been telling me, I haven't got to see the gameplay yet, but I've been seeing videos on TikTok of people being like, how the fact of their new mechanics are kind of like a love letter to the people who were experimenting with Breath of the Wild, and instead of discouraging them from trying to rise to the skybox or get to a divine beast earlier than they should have, they're actually giving them like mechanics, if anything, to kind of encourage them to continue experimenting and breaking the game. And I think that that is the coolest thing because I didn't know how we would be able to top the interactive world that Breath of the Wild had. And the more we see for Tears of the Kingdom and the more this recent trailer has showed off, I think it's going to be amazing to see what people come up with because I could just see them playing this for decades.
Oh, there's gonna be some crazy videos on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like a weekend, people will be busting this game wide open.
Yeah.
But the story part is interesting because a lot of times when you have a world that's just completely open, I feel like it's harder to figure out how you'll tell the story in order because someone can go to this divine beast first, one other person goes off to the other side of the map and tackles a different one first. So it felt very separate though for each one, and they didn't really reference the other in those flash. As you're mentioning, it's like you kind of show up and they see that you've outfitted yourself with the other. You feel like they react a bit differently, but they don't.
Yo, John, and we actually figured out, because I know we talked about it last week, why it's called Tears of the Kingdom. Now we have our answer.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, downstairs.
Yeah.
They're telling the truth. They said they didn't want to ruin the story. Holy smokes. You know, those tears and gives the champions their power. I mean, it is a big part of the game. So there you go. We figured that out. That was cool.
There you go. Yeah. We're less than a month away. So it's gonna be interesting. Hey, you know what? Less than 3 weeks away probably from it leaking. So there you go.
No.
Oh, this game's oh, come on. Somebody's gonna like do some crazy
the first day someone sees it in a warehouse, it's on the street.
Oh, that thing is gone.
Don't be that guy.
It's gonna be leaked. It's gonna be leaked.
Preparing people now. That thing's out probably a week before,
Soon.
and it's gonna be crazy online. I'm just telling you now.
I'm getting my mute list ready.
Nah,
Yo, you should get it. You should do it now.
Yeah, well, when I say get it ready, yeah, but also at the same time, I love still seeing like reactions being posted on my timeline. So
Just be careful. I'm telling you, people are about ready. They're about ready to spoil the hell out of this.
Yeah,
game.
people get enjoyment out of that, and this is definitely a game that people will get like incredible amounts of enjoyment for spoiling because it's that game.
Did the art book leak? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw some of it.
Because
And that's why I was trying to tell people, no, there's a ton of stuff in this game. People are like, no, you're just fanboy. I'm like, no, there's actually like a ton of new stuff in this game. But I didn't want to. Obviously, like they're going after that guy that leaked that art book, and I'm not going to sit there and talk about. I'm not going to get talk about that and get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Or get like my video claimed or stricken or whatever. So I didn't want to mention things. But that art book showed up. Like we saw the wingsuit. It was in the art book. Like it was there. We saw. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was in the art book. The leaks. The whole thing leaked. You know.
The whole thing.
It's like 200 pages or something. It was some crazy amount of pages.
Yeah, I didn't look at everything though. I just looked at some stuff. So then that made me more confident that this game was going to be, because people were saying, no, OJ, I don't think so. I saw people's videos saying people having doubts. I'm like, okay, well, let me just see if it is, because I felt pretty confident about it. And then when I saw the art book, I'm like, I was 100%. Like when I saw I just saw a few different pages. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of new characters. There's a lot of dynamic stuff in this game.
It's been like 5 years since the last one. Why do people think that there's going to be like 2 new things. Why is this a discussion? Are we just that used to mediocrity that we assume that of something that's taken
just people
5
are
years?
skeptical. I mean, people are skeptical. I mean, because some people say because Nintendo didn't show us, they want
That's the
them to show them
point.
more. But yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. You know, like we saw Sean talk about with God of War or whatever. You know, I personally don't want them to.
The same exact thing did kind of happen with God of War. People
said that it was
DLC, and then it comes out and there's a lot in that game. So
yeah,
I
you
mean,
know.
otherwise, what are you gonna
Horizon
get?
got kind of the same treatment too. Now I think about it. Basically, any sequel nowadays.
I did Ragnarok, remember?
Yeah, Ragnarok. Yeah, that has the same. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Ragnarok, people were saying, and I said that was stupid. I'm like, that's dumb. They're not going to be working on this game for 5 years and not have anything new. That doesn't make any sense.
What's the alternative? Is you want to hear about a game for 5 years, and by the time it comes out, you're sick.
We're gonna get to that with Final Fantasy 16.
Some people do.
We could talk about Final Fantasy 16 or even Death Stranding. Like Death Stranding, we saw trailers at big events for like 3 years straight. It only made people more confused, and then people were sick of the game, or they had preconceived notions. And when the game came out, people were like all up in arms about it. So.
Deathloop was probably the
Spider-Man
Deathloop was
2
the worst, and that wasn't even like 3 years. That was like a year straight. Like that was like expedited annoyance.
Remember when they showed Deathloop like 10 times in a row?
Yeah, screw Deathloop.
Oh, Deathloop was good.
No,
like
the marketing.
The marketing. They just constantly just shoving it down her throat like every single time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. A couple weeks from now, we'll be playing Zelda. So exciting stuff. That'll be a fun podcast to go over. So we'll see how that goes. Click if you had to run. Thank you for joining us for the Zelda stuff. If you want to stick around, obviously you can. But I know you got some stuff. Yes, well, I know she has some stuff to attend to. So
yeah, I have a screaming baby. She's not screaming. People are gonna be like, "Wow, you're a bad mom." Freaking Twitter.
She's gonna do that they left the baby there by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's even there.
It's in a bathtub by itself right now.
Oh, hey, you guys.
Herself.
One more thing. Hold on. One more thing. And I saw on the timeline one more
all
time.
over the place.
Hold on. Before this thing started, people, for some reason, why is it when the Zelda's coming out, they're like, is Zelda pregnant? I know Sean was joking in his thing. People are like, is she pregnant? Is that why she's holding the sword the way she is? The dress she's wearing? Bro, y'all, I was pregnant for like 9 months straight and y'all couldn't tell. Okay, she's not pregnant. You wouldn't be able to tell a pregnant person if they stood in front of you or in a camera. Right
Okay,
in front
but
of her
like,
face.
what
Okay?
if we find out in the game she is pregnant?
She's literally not going to be pregnant, guys.
But like, what
I
if?
will eat a piece of paper if she's.
she's on record. What's today? The 15th. Okay,
This is episode 314. Yeah.
314. Got it.
I know
To
you
be
guys
fair,
are
though,
so
Click, I
weird
mean-
Would that be?
about
I mean,
Zelda
nobody
being
could tell that
pregnant.
you were pregnant, though, Click. I mean, I saw you, and
That's
you didn't
what
look.
I'm saying. Is you literally listen. You've seen a pregnant person and you couldn't tell. Okay, Zelda's not pregnant. It's called
I
an
know, I'm
Empire
just-
Waistline. Okay, that's just the
I'm
way the
just
dress
saying.
hangs. Chill.
You were like,
Listen,
I'm pregnant. I'm like, huh?
I
I'm like, you're
looked at-
pregnant, Click?
I looked at the leaks. I saw the last page. Sorry,
Oh my
she's
God.
pregnant.
Oh my
It's birth on the last page.
That's an easy bet. Start eating that paper.
Oh my God. All right, I'm out, guys. Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye,
Take
Hi,
it.
Click.
Clicky.
Evan, you gotta actually hold on. This is from Minato Mario, member for 21 months. 21 months says this trailer made me pre-order Tears of the Kingdom. Can't wait for the launch of the game. That was the goal of the trailer. I'm sure a lot of people probably did the same thing. Shout out to Minato Mario though. Evan, you got a Discord question over there.
When playing games on an emulator, what kind of controller do you prefer to play with?
8-bit
Go on,
dough.
Sean's the emulation expert.
Yeah, he's the PC
seriously.
gamer.
Shut the
What you
fuck
got?
up.
It's
over there.
obviously
you got,
keyboard
Sean?
and mouse for Sean because he is on PC.
No, I have controllers that are like USB controllers of all of the. And so if I'm playing an NES, I have a controller that's a USB controller that's like an NES. I like to, if I'm just testing something out to see if I want to play it, I'll just use a 360 controller just because very easy to map buttons and all that sort of stuff.
Pretty good universal is just the Pro 2 because you can map all
Yeah,
the
something
buttons.
like that is
Same
cool.
form factor as SNES, stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
But yeah, so like I have a bunch of they're actually on that table right there that I'm going to be working on a review of.
All right, let's go over to Redfall. Let's just talk about this one. It wasn't a great week for Microsoft. Really, this game has had a really rough time in the last month and a half, I think. The always online stuff that they're backtracking on, the progression for co-op where basically the story only proceeds if you're the host, the guests, their story doesn't. So you got to replay that on their side. And now the talk around the modes that it'll launch with specifically for performance, and this tweet got beaten into oblivion on here. If you look at like the comments, the likes, oh, it was bad. They said Redfall is launching on Xbox consoles with quality mode only. Xbox Series X, 4K 30 frames per second. Xbox Series S, 1440p, 30 frames per second. The 60 frames per second performance mode will be added via game update at a later date. And then it just lost it online. Twitter was on fire. It was the whole thing. But I saw some pretty strong opinions one way or the other. However, I'm curious, MVG, I want to go to you first on this because you had some words too to say. I noticed that. But let me, 30 frames at launch.
Well,
what's going on?
It's cinematic.
Okay, so my overarching emotion about Redfall, well, at least about this messaging, is disappointment. So I'm actually someone that I think Redfall looks really cool and I want to play it. And John, we've talked about playing it, and I still think I will check it out.
Well, to be fair, John talks about playing.
Yeah, Sean makes fun of me all the time. So I'm like, yo, Redfall's coming out. We should play this, right? Just check it out. And then Sean's like, no.
So my problem is it's not that the game is running at 30, right? It's that there was no communication about this literally until like the 11th hour that this would happen, right? And to make matters worse, every single gameplay reveal trailer we've seen of so-called Xbox footage is running at 60 frames per second, right? So the communication right at the end, is it's kind of really close to the launch of the game, and having that communication right at the end it's just not a good look. And I feel like maybe if they were just more transparent about it, it would have gone a little better for them. But look, I think the biggest issue I have with this is that this is an Xbox first party release, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a Xbox Series S only release. There's no VCR version. There's no there's no older version to worry about. No.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they get this game ready at 60 frames per second? You've got access to basically the advanced technology group, basically the guys that write the development kits, right? Like they have those types of resources at their disposal. And I just don't really understand what's happened here for this game to be in an unfinished state. And I think
interesting. Hold on. You said it's unfinished.
It is unfinished. And I think when the game comes out, we're going to see more situations throughout the game where it's clearly not quite ready yet, right?
Well, you know why they have to release it? Because if they didn't release this, then none of the games that they showed during these are the games that are coming out in the next 12 months would have came out.
You're absolutely right.
And yes, the game is unfinished because they want the 60. They said it themselves that it's not finished. This is something that they want in the game that's going to be in the game, but it's launching without it. That means it's not finished.
Yeah, and that whole self-inflicted 12 months window that they've kind of set upon themselves, they've kind of just pigeonholed themselves into this, the next 12 months thing. So look, the game should be delayed. It's not going to get delayed because we're way past that point where everything is buttoned up and ready for this game to come out. But I think it's just overall disappointing that this announcement came out when it did. I feel like no one at Arcane wants to release this game, but there was Sean alluded to, there was just a call made by management that they're just going with it no matter what. And I think ultimately the game is going to suffer because of it. A lot of people aren't going to want to play the 30 FPS game and want to wait for the finished version. That's what I'm going to say it is. And I think, I'm probably going to check it out still, and I'm probably going to play it. But by the time the patch comes out, John, to be honest, I would have moved on like 3 or 4 games by then to whenever, whatever's next. So
it's very competitive. Right now, especially, there's a lot of stuff to play. Jedi Survivor's coming up soon. Dead Island 2's out next week. Advanced Wars. And then we go right into Zelda, and then Final Fantasy's creeping up. So.
John, the thing with this, man, I agree with what MVG was saying. Like, it was because they showed it in 60. I watched all of the Xbox guys like Cole and Randall, and I read Jez's article. I watched all of them, what they were saying. Everything that they showed was 60. They even said it on the website or on the description that it was 60. So that was the biggest issue, and it's because it's a shooter. If this is like Starfield, where they've shown it in 30, I don't think people would be upset. If this is like a huge adventure game or open world game, that's not as big of a problem. But like a multiplayer game, like a multiplayer shooter, that feels better for 60. Like everybody kind of like, everybody likes
shooter.
60
Yeah,
frames.
definitely a shooter.
For shooters, yeah. Like, so if it's a, single player adventure game, then it's a little bit different. But if it's a multiplayer shooter, which this game's like Left 4 Dead or like, these type of games, Far Cry has multiplayer, like that's the reason why people are so upset, with it. That's the main thing. Not because it's 30, because Starfield's probably going to be 30. Right?
I kind of think if Starfield's going to be 30, then
yeah, it's probably going to be 30, and everyone's going to be excited to play. I mean, some people would be upset, but whatever. But if it did launch at 30, I think people would be fine. We're all still going to be excited, but it's because they showed it at 60. I watched Colt's preview. It was at 60. He said it's at 60. He showed a gameplay clip. Everything's at 60, and then all of a sudden, pull the rug. It's not as 30. So I think
how's it going to be at 30? Aaron Greenberg said himself that every Xbox Series game is targeting 60 frames per second. This is a first-party game. You telling me that they can't get these games running at 60? If they can't, then there is something majorly off. And maybe I'm missing something, but like, if you can't get a first-party game running at 60 FPS on
that
Series
looks like
X,
that,
the most powerful console in the world, we have serious problems.
Let's be realistic. There's last generation games that look better than that.
I mean, you look at like Red Dead Redemption 2, that came out at 30, right? And I'm like, it's 30. But then I look at it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play. It looks really good, right? It's 4K on the Xbox One X, and it's a great game.
Xbox touted power. They're touting we have the world's strongest system. It's that's the thing. Like they're touting frame rate, they're touting all that. When you do that, that's another problem. And if they didn't tout it as much, then maybe once again. But all the Xbox guys are upset with this, as well. So it's not I
think everyone is. I mean, I think there's a universal disapproval of the messaging here, and rightfully so. Like they messed this one up big time, and I would also say that they've misled people. They've misled gamers on what Redfall's all about.
And I see someone in the chat keeps bringing up Tears of the Kingdom being 70, and that's obviously going to be 30 or probably less at times. I think the difference is Nintendo doesn't tout power. You know what I'm saying? This tablet is using 2015 technology, and you're comparing it to Microsoft themselves said the most powerful console on the marketplace. Yeah, so it's kind of apples and oranges.
I don't understand this comparison. The problem is that it's the messaging. If somebody tells you something, they showed Tears of the Kingdom at 30. The system is not the most powerful system in the world. It's not $500. They showed it at 30. We all knew it was that. We all knew heading into it. Just like Starfield has been shown at 30. So if it's 30, whatever, it's fine. It's them showing it at 60. I don't understand why you bring up
if you want to make the comparison to the Nintendo, technically the last first-person shooter Nintendo released came out at 60 frames per second.
Well, Nintendo releases all their multiplayer games. Listen. Like, that's why I said Splatoon.
It's Arcane. I like Arcane. I'm like, man, we're just like beating down Arcane.
Splatoon's a shooter. All of their multiplayer games are 60, no matter if they're lacking content or whatever the case is, but they're all 60. Like Switch Sports, Mario stuff, all that stuff is 60. For multiplayer games, it's just a bit better for the first party multiplayer. So
you're talking about Prime, right, John?
Yeah, Metroid Prime Remaster.
Yeah.
And that shit was wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird that comparison gets brought up. And once again, play a game at 30. Like Starfield, people are gonna be excited. If that's 30, it'll be fine.
It'll be good. That preview event, I forgot about that. I just remembered it now. That preview event was the biggest ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. Like people walk in and they see these like government issued PCs from 2014 with like Redfall on there, and no one asked any questions. I mean, the
pictures of them were pretty funny.
First thing I would have asked is, where is the Xbox version? We're like literally 6 to 8 weeks from launch of this game. Why are we playing this on PC? Like, I don't feel like anyone that was sent out there asked any hard questions. Next time they need to send me out there. I'll
send MBG.
Colt said that he. Here's the
thing: a no nonsense, no BS take of the game. Don't send these people out there that like aren't going to say anything bad. Send real people out there that can actually speak up about this.
But that doesn't help their bottom line.
Yeah, that's the whole point of those events. That's why those events
look where they are now.
They want
they
want the shiny objects lovers. Like that's all.
But look where they are now. They're literally weeks from launch, and this game is like going to be DOA. Like
it's Game Pass. What does it matter?
Oh man, they could have done much better here. They could have done much better here.
I forgot who it was, but I watched Colt's video, and he said that somebody next to him, I forgot who the content creator was, did ask them about it and was fidgeting with some of the stuff in the settings or whatever the case. But I don't remember the content creator's name. But I think there maybe was one person who did ask them about that. But I guess there was some NDAs on what can be said or what could not be said or what can be shown, what could not be shown. I mean, I'm not sure what the specifics are of it, but that was the event in Los Angeles, right? That you're talking about, that preview event. Okay.
They flew people out to.
Yeah, they flew people. Yeah.
Isn't the PC version launching at 60?
Yeah,
Yes.
but it apparently has its own issues as well. Like it was
I
all
don't
over
doubt
the
it.
The
place.
PC version 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
going to be.
The
Well, but there
Xbox
might
version
be.
is 70.
No,
No, we're talking about frames.
Oh, I thought you meant like the price. I was like,
No,
hold on
no,
a minute.
no.
You're talking about $60 for that? Hold on.
John, who's buying it? Come on. Who's
Okay.
buying a game that's on Game Pass?
No, the PC version will probably be like, people will push it up above 60 frames. But there is de novo on that, and that's kind of that's a coin flip. Ask MVG. You don't know what's coming out of that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. On Sean, I'm probably gonna wait until it's on a deep discount on Black Friday, and I'll get it then. And hopefully the patch will be in, and I'll just play it then. I think.
Hold on, I got to know. We might just be really old men yelling about this right now. Josie, is the frame rate is that like the frame rate comparison stuff? Is that a concern when you go and pick up a game or something? Do you look at performance for, we'll say Switch games as an example, but any of these different games?
I'm not a huge performance person, but I think this situation is a little bit different, mostly because of the misleading situation towards it. I'm sort of on the outside, so I don't know a ton about it, but I think, like you guys were saying, I go into Nintendo games not expecting perfect power. I saw what Scarlet and Violet looked like, and then I proceeded to play them and laugh at all the glitches. I don't really care, but stuff like this, where it's so specific to, like, first-person shooters, I feel like should almost always be 60, and I think it's hard because Xbox has really almost zero first-party games coming out, so they don't just want to push stuff back like this, but I think it's unfortunate that it's launching at the state it is, and I think people are rightly upset. I don't really have a huge stake in it, but I think it's kind of crappy as a situation.
You know, I didn't ask you, Josie, did you check out that Minecraft Legends game that came out?
I didn't, but I did download Final Fantasy VII. That's a whole other thing, but I just wanted to get that out there.
Stuff. You started it yet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, we'll get your take on
You
that.
sound like a fucking drug dealer. Like, do you think
Hey, this is our
Think of that
first
shit. It's some
entry
good shit,
into
isn't it?
Final Fantasy. You could make comparisons then to that. It's a lot of Final Fantasy out there, Sean. Come on. Okay, so Redfall coming out 30 frames.
Evan, are you gonna play Redfall?
Am I gonna play it?
I'm not really.
No,
I'm not
asking
really
Evan.
driven to,
Evan.
but honestly, if you guys wanted to co-op, like I'm at that breaking
I
point.
think I do, and I'm probably just gonna jump on the PC version, check it out.
I might get on PC as well. I mean, I'll download an Xbox just to see how it
So
it
now I'm
runs,
definitely not
but-
playing this bullshit. I'm not playing this on PC.
So
You
who's
have
going to be
it.
the host and actually get the story progress?
Oh, that's the other
Yeah.
problem, man. It's like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you
that
see?
was
That's
that was huge when I heard that. I was like,
Fucking
oh,
game,
that's so
man.
bad.
I
Come
can't
on.
believe that's a thing too. It's like whoever's host will progress in the story, and everyone else. Yeah, I mean, you
Out of
get to
luck.
keep items you get, but you don't progress. You got to go back and replay it yourself by yourself.
I'll go
It's-
ahead and say I'm probably not gonna play it by myself, so I don't want to host. You guys can do it.
Man,
This is.
I
That's
don't know.
what I mean. Everything we keep hearing about all these issues with this game, and it's like, gosh, Jordan, you playing Redfall?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. It's Game Pass, so you know. I don't know.
Okay, well there you
Yeah,
go.
give it a shot. I don't know. I haven't really had much of an interest in it, but
I think a game it can be good enough to overcome something like the 30 frames bug that people will make a big deal out of. Like Zelda that'll overcome 30. That'll overcome 20 frames at times, most likely. If there's a forest somewhere in there, it'll overcome that frame rate.
I've only been a frame snob on PC. Like I don't like it's on consoles. I've never cared about frames. Like 30 to 60, it's like, I mean, 60's nice, but I don't care if it's 30 on console.
You know what's interesting? It does seem like, Jordan, frame rate has become a bigger talking point now than even like midway through last generation. It wasn't this kind of a talking
because
point.
like, where do you go? Like, we're at a point with graphics where you can't be like, what else can they do with graphics?
Yeah.
Like, how well is it going to run? And how many frames is it going to have?
I just
like,
don't think
that's the only thing left in the conversation.
I don't think ray tracing has caught on like they may have hoped it would, like the next big shiny object, as Evan puts it. But if that doesn't, then what else is there? Like you're saying,
because I feel if you poll like, 8 out of 10 people probably don't know how to describe exactly what the ray tracing is. Like that's why there's it's really just how many frame rates, how's the frame rate, and can it run well? That's really it. That's all it's been in the conversation. Like, we'll talk about ray tracing because but like the general public, a person's picking up a game is like, as long as it runs well. And
I turn off all that crap. It makes the game run worse. Like
I want it to run as well as it can.
Yeah. So I just turned off, and it looks stupid.
Performance mode.
It depends on where ray tracing goes, because one of the big things was still the bouncing audio, which I think could be a really cool way for it to eventually end up with the less of like the reflections, because that's kind of how tessellation worked. When they introduced that, all the models had like all these big points on it and stuff, and it would chug your system, and then they finally reined it in. They're like, all right, we'll do a little tessellation, not a ton.
Evan like turned it on with that. It's like the ATI 5770, and you're like, this is the greatest looking 8 frames per second I've ever seen.
It was when we were it was Metro, when we were going down the tunnel, and every brick looked like an individual brick. We were like, wow, this is incredible.
Remember there was also the benchmark that we'd run. I think it was from 3D Mark, but it was the dragon in the middle of the town circle.
The dragon in the town circle.
You turn tessellation on, and like the horns and spikes would get bigger and bigger on the thing. And,
and then that just gets scaled down, and it's made better in the future. So that's.
But that was noticeable. This ray tracing just really had. Everyone looks at it as like, I guess, I don't know. There's lighting. I don't know, and the things that it affect are just, if you're actually playing the game, I just feel like we have it a reflection in a puddle at the side. That's kind of it, so I don't think it's had any major gameplay impact yet. So it's
we need a stealth game. We need like Splinter Cell or
that might do it. That could.
We need something like that really shows, okay, here's these lighting and shadows. But
Splinter Cell's coming.
But to be honest, like old school, like you can play Chaos there and be like, damn, those are
what's interesting. What's interesting about that though is Splinter Cell, when that first showed up on consoles back in the day, that kind of showed what lighting can do on those systems. And now we're in full circle. Maybe this new Splinter Cell can use ray tracing and show what it can do. Man, yeah, it's not a great run for Microsoft recently. Is this a Bethesda thing or is this a Microsoft Xbox thing?
It's Microsoft. Who owns
Microsoft thing?
Okay. Okay, I saw people say it's a Bethesda thing.
They're on the hook. They're on the hook for this.
Okay.
Who owns Bethesda?
There you go.
What are the other big Xbox games coming out this year? I'm like,
Starfield this year specifically,
Starfield, Forza,
and Hellblade 2. Maybe
question mark.
I think I kind of think that's next year. I mean, it'd be nice to get it out this holiday, but we already had Hi-Fi Rush that came out.
Yeah,
that was a big one, obviously. But yeah, it's Starfield, Redfall, Forza, Minecraft.
To be honest, that's good. I think that's good enough. If all these games come out like this year, like Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, Redfall, Forza, 4 or 5 games a year. That's
pretty good. People ain't coming out this year. You crazy ass people.
Hold on, but they have a 2-hour presentation in June.
I think they'll have something there.
Some of it's Starfield, but like 2 hours. They have to have something, right?
Walk out with some alternate reality bullshit.
I don't know, man.
Microsoft this is coming.
Microsoft has had hella long presentations before, and you're like, I think there's a lot of stuff.
I kind of feel like you have Coalition, you have Machine Games. I feel like those two will be there.
Yeah.
Machine Games should have Indiana Jones. Like, we had that announced. It feels like that was announced a while ago. I feel like they show up with that. Avowed.
Do you guys think that this show is it going to be for stuff for next year? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this show is going to be stuff for next year, and part this year and some next.
Oh, they can't do that. Don't do that again.
They're not doing the 12-month thing again.
I'm not saying that they're doing that. I just think that it won't be everything all set because like they're gonna give us a look at Fable, right? Maybe we get a look at Fable. Maybe we get Perfect Dark.
I think it'd be a good move to show Fable, but I don't think that. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like Fable's 2025.
And what makes you say that, John?
I
know?
I think it's a ways off. The fact that Hellblade 2 is taking as long as it is, I don't know. Fable.
I just want to see Fable and Perfect Dark. Those are like the two games that I really wanted because like we haven't gotten anything since they showed it off years ago. I think those were like in 2020 they showed those games off, like or they announced them.
Yeah,
like, I think it was like going on 3 years now. So I
show something. I'm sure they made a show concept art. There you go. We did it.
I would maybe like a gameplay trailer.
Well, you got to date Forza. Sure, you can show something for Fable. I feel like Perfect Dark's going to be a minute too, but show something for Fable, and then Certain Affinity gets there. They show whatever they're doing for Halo, which is probably Battle Royale, so we can all start playing Halo again, right? And then and then we got to close out with the big one just before the Starfield event, and that's Banjo-Kazooie, and then MVG can get back on Reddit.
Banjo-Kazooie? Is it happening, MVG?
New Banjo game.
Back on Reddit.
Banjo 3E. You just forget nuts and bolts existed.
I'm not saying dick about that game ever again.
Everwild? How about Everwild? Is that going to be something
that's gonna be like 2 years from now?
No.
Everwild? They announced that game before they knew what the concept was for it.
I think there's going to be Phil Spencer's going to come through with some RPGs. With some JRPGs, they're gonna come through with some.
Like Compulsion might have something. That's the thing. It's very scattershot with their studios. They could
Tales of Arise Game Pass. What else? So yeah, I think there's gonna be some stuff, a lot of stuff like that because they got Persona. Maybe Octopath Traveler 2 gets on Game Pass. So I think there's gonna be a block of that stuff, which will be exciting for people that kind of.
I hope Redfall comes out and it's good. We'll see. It's not been trending in the right direction for them. So it is out May 2nd. It's going to Game Pass. So there you go. If you have Game Pass, you can download it. Josie has the Xbox Series S, so she'll be downloading it, I'm sure.
If it's a good
maybe
Far Cry style game, then I'm happy. I like those games.
Yeah, I do too. So
you don't have to download it. You just stream it. You play it for 5 minutes. Be like, hey, no thanks.
Or you could do that. You could try it out. But I mean, I'll download it on my PC or something if I feel.
Is that what you do, Sean?
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, I always cloud stream before I download. My space is precious.
Okay.
Your space is precious.
I always buy Far Cry games for like $5 and then put it in, and then before I play it for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this is just not for me. But I always buy them. I have like every Far Cry game, and like
I had a kick out of Far Cry 6. I played through that and it was all right.
Never beat them.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it's like for me, I know they need to reboot that series badly and do something new or revamp it, but I don't know. It's just I can kind of sit down, put a podcast on or whatever, and just play the game. And
they have the best covers for Far Cry games. They got that guy from Breaking Bad. He's on there. That's super cool. That's why I bought it. The other cover has these two like black twins with their hair braided. It looks cool. So I like the covers. So
Jordan, you played Jordan. You played Far Cry 6, didn't you?
Yes.
All right, good. You liked it.
So
it was all right. It was all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like the formula, like after they got 3 and they're like, okay, this is like working. We just got to keep making 3. And then they tried to kind of make it a little more realistic with 5. And then it's just like, I don't know. It lost whatever charm 3 had for me. So.
Did you guys play that prehistoric one? Primal? Did
yeah.
Oh,
is
I
that
played
good?
that kind of.
The game's good.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite one.
I like all of them. They're good. It's just dumb fun, but I like them.
2 was pretty cool though. 2 was the one where I legitimately was surprised at some stuff. Yeah, like setting, like that was the first time I remember. I feel like I remember throwing like fire into grass and it just caught everything on fire. That was weird. That actually is a thing.
Near the end of it, I know you could light one of the whole villages that you had to invade on fire. So like just all the buildings are burning down. People are jumping out the windows. You're like, this is great.
That feels like that was a long time ago too that game came out. And they were doing that. So
now you play Warzone and literally everything is static.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Redfall. I'm pulling for Arcane. We'll see what happens. Evan, you got a Discord question over there.
For those who have the DualSense Edge and Xbox Elite controllers, do you use them over the regular controllers?
Yes, I do. I use both over the regulars. I'll use the DualSense Edge, which is over there on the charging stand. I don't know if it's like on the side. Yeah, I use DualSense Edge basically for all the games. And at times I won't use the problem with the Elite is it has this thing where like build quality is not great. So like they have like a texture on it and it starts to kind of peel away. So I've actually bought like 2 of them so far because of that. But I mean, the hair trigger shooting is very good for a lot of shooters. So I do use it. And then Sean and MVG and Nate are always confused about how I kill so many people. I try to tell him, and Sean's like, that's a waste of money. And then he's like, how did you kill 12 people and lead us to victory? See, Sean dropped his camera after hearing that.
Yep.
He'll be back. He'll tell you about what happened. Evan, you have another Discord question?
Why do you think Naughty Dog is flopping so hard on getting The Last of Us Part 1 to run well on PC?
I don't know. That's a good question. Inexperience? I don't know.
No, I think it's just a bigger job than what people think it might be. And again, one of those situations where I felt like someone there should have just said, we can't launch this game in the state that it's in right now. But someone higher up, most likely due to the popularity of the TV show, said, nope, you have to release this right now because this is when we're going to make the most amount of money. But unfortunately, I think a lot of that's backfired because I'm sure people have gotten refunds on that game and stuff like that. But look, I think overall, it's just a bigger job to optimize that game than what was initially thought. That it was just, a couple of patches should be good. I think this is going to be something that's probably going to take about 6 months to get right.
It's interesting because you figure that's a franchise or an intellectual property they try to protect. Instead, it went the opposite direction. They just kind of pushed it out. So very weird. Very weird. You have another Discord question, Evan?
I'm planning to play Final Fantasy VI for the first time. Should I try the new Pixel remaster on Switch or play the original on my SNES Classic?
Pixel remaster. Yeah, might as well just wait. Get it. Get the Pixel remaster.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, you pretty much go either way, but why not? The Pixel remaster's right there.
When does the reviews for that drop?
Wait, it's out?
Yeah, next week. This coming week.
It's out on the 20th, right? It's out on the 20th, isn't it? 19th, 20th?
Yeah.
So reviews probably drop the day before. I think probably like 18th they'll come out.
That's just regular string cheese, or you got like some special stuff there, Sean?
Well, I thought it was Big League Chew.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was Big League Chew gum.
Cheese stick.
Just standard mozzarella. Not like a Gouda stick.
A light one.
Emergency cheese stick break.
Light string cheese. Aldi brand. Happy Farms.
Nice.
All right, let's see. We have some of the super chats. Jeff says, all right, place your bets over or under 25 million sold for Tears of the Kingdom and 10 million for Final Fantasy 16.
Tears of the Kingdom's going to be over.
Well over 25 million for Tears of the Kingdom. Okay. Final Fantasy 16 will eventually, over the course of time, hit 10 million. Eventually.
I think it's over for both of them. And the reason I think that is because I think Zelda is going to be sold as, I don't want to say a next gen game, but as a next gen game compatible or something, and it'll be on their next system as well.
So you're saying the Switch 2 is backwards compatible?
Interesting.
I think it'll be patched or even re-released if it's not, or in some way they'll get it on there. Either way, whatever happens, I think they're getting it there, and I think they'll sell it for the next 8 years or something crazy. So. Yeah. But I think it'll be out of the gate pretty strong. I think Final Fantasy 16 will definitely be over 10 million. I wouldn't be shocked if we hear about numbers for 16 and it's like, oh, it sold 4 or 5 million in the first month, something like that.
I'm just being just a little bit apprehensive because I felt that way about 7 Remake, and it did not do that. And 7 Remake was on a much bigger install base, like way bigger install base. Pre-orders are also tracking better on previous, like Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. So this game could do that. I mean, it definitely could. I think reviews are going to be super important for this game.
Definitely.
Like reviews are going to be so important, and it's got to be a driving factor for the PS5 as the install base grows, because the install base just isn't quite there yet. Because Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake both launched on large install bases, So.
Right. Paleo says, I'm so Zelda brained right now that I went back and finished getting all the Kurok seeds to get the golden turd. Now finishing all the side quests. Yeah, I didn't have that kind of commitment to get all those, but
absolutely not.
Zbat says, seeing how long it took Microsoft to update Halo, I could see this Redfall 60 FPS patch taking months on what is supposedly 5 times stronger than the Switch. Well, it's a little more than 5 times stronger technically by raw power, but
I'm still waiting on the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet performance patch.
That is not happening.
People forgot. They were like,
I didn't forget.
No, I didn't forget. I'm not buying that DLC till they get that out.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do soon, because that's. And you know what? I actually heard when the patch is coming. It's coming with the Switch 2. That's the patch.
Sure.
Buy the Switch 2.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor that seems to be.
John. You know something? What's going on
That's
over
the
there?
patch. The Switch 2.
The leaker guy, he that seems to be accurate.
That's
think
gonna
John-
be it. Buy this hardware; it'll work better.
I think John's the
That's
leaky guy.
That's a goddamn shame.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe over the summer or something. Definitely before the DLC, right? I don't know.
The DLC is one, I think, summer and then fall. Or
Yeah,
is it
that's all
fall?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not buying it. So they got to get that patch. They got to get it out with it, or
You feeling good over there, Jordan, about that patch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Well, actually, yeah, we didn't even say that. When do we think this Redfall 60 FPS patch is coming? Is it a week later? Is it a month later? Is it a year later?
6
When
months.
Oh my gosh, 6 months. What? I was hoping
Yep.
to be like next week or something, a week after. 2 weeks
No.
later.
I feel like there's gonna be a ton of other bugs that pop up day one. They're gonna be like, yeah, those are first.
You think they're going to look at the split for PC and Xbox and be like, oh man, we have a lot more PC players all of a sudden than Xbox players after this game launched. That's an interesting thing to think about for the console. This is from Casual Nooba says, theory, there will be many Zelda from different games in dungeons to earn tiers from that kingdom to assemble like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Balls to wish our Zelda back to life.
That's crazier than a playable Zelda.
Nerd Crave says, thanks for the best 2 hours of every week. Thank you, Nerd Crave. SLM says, RGT, please elaborate on why Misclick is the only member of the cast that you would want on a deserted island. Is that an after show thing, Sean?
Oh no, I mean, yeah. Well, somebody asked me that on a stream. She'd be the easiest to kill, and you could cook her.
It's not a lot of meat though.
Wow, okay.
I don't think you're thinking logically here.
yeah, you ain't eating for that long, bro.
Sean is incredibly honest. I will give him that.
Maybe a week tops.
You may have you just showed your hand though. Now you can't pick her.
Or can I? Maybe I was
Well, that's
lying.
true. Maybe you can. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. You can play possum with that. Lewis says this trailer was the most hype they've done leading up to release. What are your performance predictions? It's the only thing I'm worried about. Oh, for like frame rate and stuff. 900p, 25 to 30 frames most times. That's what I'm gonna say. So there a lot of stuff. I feel like when you jump off of that one of the Sky Islands, and you start hitting the ground, you'll probably see like pop in there and stuff. But otherwise, I think it'll be fine in terms of visuals necessarily. So Breath of the Wild still looks fairly good. I'll give them that. But hey, if you want better performance or better visuals, you can buy the game and then you can play it in an emulator most likely months later. Let's see. Quest says, Jordan friends, check out Pugling's Kickstarter.
Oh, that's Chad Tronic's game, I think.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one that he's working on.
Electronics making a game?
Yes.
Not cool.
This one's from the Sony Pony Poacher. All right. The cinematic RPG will return 2024. It's been in development since 2020 and was meant to release this year for the 25th anniversary. PE. That's
Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve.
But then he clarifies, he's like, "Oh, I was just hoping."
For the 25th anniversary, the teams have been
Look at
focused
this. Look at his next one.
release on PS5 timed exclusive for PC. Then they say in all serious note, why has Square Enix not capitalized on the horror renaissance, bringing back one of the most unique horror games of the PS1 era?
Yeah, Parasite Eve, very unique cinematic RPG, fantastic game, still worth playing even in today's day. They have not brought it back because there's nobody that wants to make that game.
Because they hate Sean, that's why.
Third birthday killed the franchise. It did.
That's such a stupid game. I mean,
Third birthday and Tetsuya Nomura, these guys, they're crazy stories, and it killed the franchise. It's just that game killed the franchise, and they need somebody in there that actually wants to make Parasite's Eve, or a president that wants to bring it back. I don't think it would be too hard. I know it would be hard, but to have like a remaster of the original Parasite's Eve, rebalance it a bit because it's kind of unbalanced and wonky, but it'd be nice. But there's nobody there that cares. Just if you want me to be honest, there's nobody there that gives a shit.
Huddy says 70 DLC people looked dumb at the time and even dumber now. Nintendo taking 6 years to develop a Zelda sequel with Breath of the Wild as a template was plenty to know it would be way more than DLC.
You can't assume anything.
No, the $70 DLC people they look stupid and they look stupid now. They do.
I disagree.
No, they do. I mean, because you don't know. You're saying, oh, it's $70 DLC, it's $70 DLC. So they took 6 years to do nothing.
You're basing it on what they show you, though. Like I said, after this trailer we got this week, then yeah, you do look kind of, obviously you were wrong on that take, and if you're still saying that take, then yes, that's a dumb thing to say. But in retrospect, you don't know. You only know what they show you.
Yeah, but why wouldn't Nintendo push a game back 2 years to do nothing with it new?
Well, you don't know. You don't know, so that's what you just don't know. You never know.
For the same reason they would drop a soccer game where not everyone can play on the same team. Like it's
let's not assume anything.
Soccer,
games get delayed. Games get delayed all the time by companies, and things don't always work out. The whole a delayed game is eventually good, a rushed game is bad. He never said that. It's a bullshit fucking quote, anyways. And there's tons of things that prove it.
I get it, but it just seems like with Zelda, they don't. I mean, I get it with Mario and all something like Mario Strikers and all that, but with Zelda, they don't really. It's Zelda. It's a follow up to like the biggest game that they've ever created. So this one, it seems like they wouldn't take 6 years to do nothing. I don't know. That's just me though. And they said that there's going to be a lot more, but then again, I guess they say Nintendo says lots of things, right, at times and doesn't follow through. So I get it, but I don't know. I think it's weird that people thought that it was just going to be like not much.
You guys just really had to bring up Strikers again. Yeah, you guys, people hate me, man.
It's all your fault.
Travis says, "Do you guys play games?"
Remember Triforce Heroes? That was a great game.
Why are you doing that?
They never said that game was gonna be. They never took 6 years to develop that
Zelda. That's Zelda. They love Zelda.
That's not a whole big. Come on, you're comparing Triforce Heroes made by 5 people to Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That's like 6 years developed. Come on, Sean. Come on, dude.
They're assuming. So you wouldn't have assumed that Triforce Heroes was going to be a good game.
You can see from the first when they showed Triforce Heroes that it wasn't going to be a good game. Breath of the Wild is a very good game, and we know it's good. They're making a sequel with way more content, so we knew it was going to be good. If they make a sequel to Triforce Heroes, we know it's probably going to be bad.
How do you know a game is good or bad if you haven't played it yet?
Hyrule, look at Hyrule Warriors. You're going to say Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a better game than Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition?
Sure, I liked it more. Sure, yeah.
Age of Calamity over...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But subjective, it's an opinion, right?
Yeah.
If you like one game over more than another?
Yeah, but it's kind of subjective to assume that a game is automatically going to be good. So, we're kind of running
I'm assuming that they're going to add more than just a few things. Since it's in development for a long time, that they're going to add a lot more things since the game was in development for a very long time. So they're going to add a lot of content. That's what I'm assuming because it's the game that's been in development for 6 years, not a shitty Triforce Heroes that's in development for 1 year.
Triforce Hero didn't do anything. It's just over there by itself.
Whoa,
or like Spirit Tracks or these small ports.
Spirit Track. Do not say the next game. Do not go back further.
Phantom Hourglass.
Shut up. Phantom Hourglass is goated. And I don't care what you have to say about it because it's an opinion.
Gosh. Hey, we'll see. We'll see in a couple of weeks because that Metacritic score will drop.
Doesn't mean nothing.
If it touches Breath of the Wild or not, I don't know. You guys think it'll hit Breath of the Wild or above, below, right at it? 97.
Below.
Breath
of the Wild got a big boost because it was the first game on the Switch, I think.
Metroid Prime Remaster is going to be the best rated game of the year.
I made that tweet. That might age well. We'll see. Metroid Prime about to be the best rated one. I don't know. That means that Zelda would be below a 95. Interesting. You saying it's like a 93 or 94 MPG?
94.
Oh, 94. Okay.
I mean, it'll be up there. Don't get me wrong, but
interesting. Oh, all right.
Like the Hollywood Reporter is going to be like, this game is the same as the last one. We're going to give it 2 out of 5, and then it's going to drag the score down a little bit.
Entertainment Weekly gonna come in with that 7 out of 10.
You know how it goes.
Travis says, "Do you play video games while on the SpawnCast?" I do not. Somebody is right now, though. I hear the buttons.
Nate and I used to play. We used to play Wii Sports and Clubhouse games and Shredder's Revenge sometimes.
Oh, one episode all of you guys were playing. You're all on the Switch. I don't know. It was you, Nate, OJ, Sean. You guys were playing one of the new NSO games, I think.
Weren't one of you guys
You
playing
played
GoldenEye?
GoldenEye?
You guys were playing something. That's on the dropped. Console says, did you all see the weird AI made SpawnCast thing? It's super, super weird. If not, look it up and be confused.
Oh yeah,
Seen them all.
I'm subscribed to him.
they
There
AI
was a
stuff's gonna-
moment, I
Gosh.
think it was the second one. There was a moment where it actually had a me versus OJ fight, and it was so accurate to argue it's OJ and I have on here for play that I'm literally like baffled at how accurate it sounded. So that's good.
A little too scary good.
It's pretty funny.
Dylan says Phil Spencer has to be on a short leash. Microsoft execs can't be pleased with the direction of Xbox. Changes might be necessary to get Xbox back on track.
No. Phil's doing a good job. I mean, these issues, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't got work to do, but like if you look at where Xbox was back in 2013 with the VCR as to where they are now, they're going in the right direction. So
They're definitely a better spot now. Yeah, I will say that.
Phil's doing a good job.
MBG doesn't want to upset his friend. Find the lie. Find the lie.
Love you, Phil.
After we met him, you can't call. You can't call for his job after you met him and hung out. Oh, this Xbox is in good hands.
Sony.
No, I actually believe that. I think he's the right man for the job right now.
So I think Phil doesn't deserve to be fired right now at this point because people still do like Game Pass. People say Game Pass is the greatest thing ever, right? Wasn't Phil the spearhead of that or the innovator of that? So
Sony Pony Poacher says if Xbox fumbles Starfield as well, I think that shows how incompetent Phil Spencer is and he should be fired. He's been course corrected since 2013. Oh man, I didn't even plan that. That was just the next one.
Man, a lot of people want Phil to go.
I feel like Starfield is going to deliver though. I think that's going to be a big release. So I think it'll work. I think it'll hit. Dark says, I'll say this, though I haven't been at all excited for Tears of the Kingdom because I see Breath of the Wild is overrated like The Witcher 3. Wow. The last trailer and seeing Ganon's face did it for me. And RGT's anti-soy style reaction was great. I laughed.
Anti-soy.
I was just reacting to it.
Interesting.
He took a shot at Breath of the Wild and he took a shot at Witcher 3. You see this, Evan? You know, I didn't even ask Evan. Are you is Tears of the Kingdom making you want to turn that Switch on again?
No, I'm still in the mindset for multiplayer. I'm single player. Maybe when it comes out, I'll want to do it, but I don't know.
Last time you turned that Switch on?
Strikers for like a week.
Oh, Strikers was the last one? Man.
Well, we know who to blame.
Turn it on for disappointment, then promptly turn it off. Man.
Besties.
Banerjee says, hey all, thanks John for pushing through the throat pain this week. Glad I caught y'all live in India time for once. Awesome shout out to India. Question for John as a fellow learning podcast lover instead of music. Which podcast do you listen to? Ooh, that's good. That's a good one. I do like listening to mostly I like listening to gaming ones a lot, but I also listen to sports ones when football season's going on. Just to see what's going. It's easier to catch what's going on around the league. Just listen to a podcast. Because they'll cover all the different teams or more important stuff. But otherwise, I'll listen to Rand Thor was doing his podcast earlier, for example, Xbox 2. That's a good podcast. I was on their Xbox 2+1 podcast there. But then we'll listen to Weapon Wheel and stuff for fun and others. So there's a lot of podcasts out there to listen to, and sometimes it's tough to catch up on all of them. But when I'm at the gym or doing other things, it's easy to kind of throw it on. But definitely check out Xbox 2, especially if you're someone looking for some maybe more positive Xbox talk at times. Because although it wasn't a good one for them either today because of the Redfall stuff. So it's been tough for Xbox recently. They gotta get a win somewhere.
Consistent wins. Consistent.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush was a win.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is very good. Yeah. But Xbox is looking for that big win, like the Starfield or something. So
if they won with Redfall and then Starfield, then Forza, you could end the year and say, yeah, they had a pretty good year. They're doing the right things. They're back on track.
They'll also own. I assume they'll own Call of Duty by then, and Call of Duty, let's face it, it's going to come out and sell ridiculous amount of numbers. So, yeah, you're right. Then it would be a pretty good year for them at that point. This is from Denizen saying the final trailer revealed too much things that the previous trailers were building mystery around, things that would have been nicer to see in game for the first time. Instead, they just spoiled it.
Okay.
Nah.
We talking about Zelda?
Yeah. I'm gonna assume this is for Zelda because we haven't talked about Final Fantasy yet.
Oh no, they didn't. They didn't spoil anything.
They probably showed us ending parts of the game out of context because the Breath of the Wild trailer, if you go back and look at it, they definitely showed us parts towards the end of the game out of context. So I'm sure they showed us something, we don't know it yet, but we haven't like seen the fight between Ganondorf and Link and Zelda. Like that's the big climactic event they probably haven't shown yet.
And there's no context to anything either, so that's also it's not, I don't know. I don't think they showed too much. I think there's going to be a lot more.
That's the idea of those really quick cuts. They leave certain parts out and get like just the right camera angle and stuff for it, so they don't spoil all of it. So they got to show you something.
They're also not. They didn't show like another of the champ. They didn't show like the Gerudo champion. Like they cut him out for some reason.
Interesting.
Like they like when they're all running, his like that weapon that they always use, the Gerudo always uses there, but they don't show him. Like he's running with them, but they just don't show him, so we don't know
like
who that's going to be.
Rather have known right now, a month out, that Ganondorf was the big antagonist in this, or would people rather have waited for the game to find out right there when you turn it on like the first hour?
It helped hype it up a lot.
Yeah, I like knowing
it was a really cool reveal, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and it didn't spoil anything, but for me.
Josh says, but still breakable weapons. Come on, Nintendo.
You can fuse them.
Yeah, but just fuse them.
Yeah.
You could put a shield on a sword.
Yep.
Yeah, or on a rock. I think that it's a really, people talk about weapon breaking because I thought that they needed to add a blacksmith, right? Or somebody that can like fix the weapons, but it's ingenious because it's like, well, why have to go somewhere and break the flow of the game when you can just do it yourself now? You can just fuse, power up your weapons, you can upgrade it. It's all right there. So it's actually a gameplay innovation to fix the weapon breaking problem, right? The degradation problem. So I think it's cool. And like, you're going to constantly be using different weapons. That's the thing. Like, they don't want you to just use one weapon. You're going to constantly be using other weapons. Because in previous Zelda games, I mean, just using the Master Sword, and once you get it, or you're just using certain weapons like for certain dungeons, but you're pretty much just using the same weapon the whole time in most Zelda games. So it's cool now that it's cool to experiment, have a variety of different weapons to use.
Jamilian asks, have you all seen the SpawnCast AI videos? They're spot on hilarious. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Seen them yet.
Scary good. Scary good. You haven't seen them, Sean? Let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. We had a state of play this week. Almost 30 minutes. It's like 25 minutes or so. Did everyone get a chance to check that out? The trailer, gameplay footage, any of that?
I live reacted to it.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, good. And then Josie, you said you were interested in Final Fantasy. This new one.
Yeah, I'm like trying out the series right now, so I'm starting to get into it. Maybe. With Final Fantasy 7. I am still on the tutorial first part, so like I'm not far at all, but. It's been.
Can I ask a question? Do you like Devil May Cry? Have you played it?
I like the idea of it. I have not played it, but I've seen a lot of it.
Another good series to try.
Another series. It's on Switch.
That one's more action based, though, right? Than
it is.
Because this is turn based.
Yep. This Final Fantasy is going to be much more action based, completely action based. Actually,
he said it's the first true action game Final Fantasy. I'm like. Yep. So Final Fantasy 15 wasn't true action.
No,
am I missing something here?
I guess technically 15, there was still kind of that moment of pausing and like refilling certain elements to it. It didn't. This looks way more like a clean combo system compared to 15. Just felt kind of janky. I don't know. Maybe that was me.
I think what he means. What I'm thinking is that it's like an actual like action game. Like he's saying it's like a full-on action game, like a Bayonetta or like or whatever, but with RPG elements. I think that's really maybe that's where he's going with. Which, based off that footage, it looks insane. It looks like DMC5, like RPG DMC5.
So that's really exciting to me because I feel like that'll be way easier for me to get into because I'm not like huge on turn-based. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. But I'm much bigger.
This is great
on action. So I'm
okay. Cool. I definitely have a question for you, that Josie.
John, you literally are a fucking drug dealer with her.
No. This is good. This is good, Sean, because
you like action. You'll really like this.
Sean, we're all old. a lot like this. We don't really understand how the generations have changed and everything.
You're
Now
gonna
this is
put Jordan
perfect.
in that too. Jordan's old
Because-
too now.
Jordan's kind of old too. He's up there.
Dude,
Look
I'm
how
old
white his
now,
hair is.
man.
He's
Bro,
20.
I'm so old now, dude.
27.
Bro, I'm 20. I'm knocking on 30's door right now. I'm old. I wake up, my bones hurt, dude. Like it sucks, man. It sucks. I hate this.
We're no, we're like the old jaded like
decrepit.
gamers over here, like mad at all these games and stuff. I like this. This is good. This is good. So 16 state of play, as OJ mentioned, first true action RPG, not turn-based at all. It's all real time. Big kaiju battles. They're apparently seamless for those icons that you fight against. You have 3 different time periods for Clive: teens, 20s, 30s. I think you're going to be going through most of it through flashbacks they mentioned, but I guess it'll culminate in like a big climactic scene and all of this as he's lived his life basically. And the world opens up as the story progresses. You'll learn your abilities from different icons, which I assume are just the bosses as you go through, and you find all the different the people, the dominants. Those are the people, and the icons are the summons they control. They show off timely rings. I assume that's just kind of like options to make it easier for people if they're struggling with the game,
Like auto dodging and stuff like that.
Yep. And then they Sid's Hideaway. It unlocks as you progress. It's a big hub world, training, merchants, upgrades, side quests, and you socialize all the other characters. So Sid is in the game as expected. Josie, you'll soon find out Sid is in every Final Fantasy. He's just a character. None of the games, well, okay, some are sequels, but basically the main numbered games as they go through, they're not connected. You can play any of them basically without playing the others, but Sid is like a recurring character that's just basically reincarnated in every one of these universes. So he is in this one. Yes, they showed that to us. But it is definitely an action game. The icon battles look really, really cool. I think they showed too much of. That's the case where I thought they showed too much.
They showed the full scenes of like almost the full battle of like the icon stuff. I felt that it was too much, but I understand why they did though. Like I think that it's important they're trying to get the new base. They're trying to get the new audience. You know, this is definitely going to be a game that a lot of new people are going to try for the first time. So, and they need the pre-orders. Like they need the pre-orders. I mean, they even said, hey, make sure you go pre-order the game. They even added that in there. Go pre-order, right now. So this was definitely for those people. So, I thought they showed too much, but it looks really cool. Like the gameplay looks dope. Torgal the dog looks really cool. Like some of the stuff that you can have him do. Clive and the action looks really good. I felt like the color palette looks a little off, looks a little drab at times. I like the areas where it's not so dark and where it's like actually like open, and they showed it looked great.
It's interesting you mentioned that. That was a question that Yoshi P fielded during that Q&A at PAX, where they pulled questions to have fun with it from Twitter, and he was like, no, it's not all dark. There's plenty of spaces where it's open and bright and all this. So you're not the only one who's pointed that out.
The dark areas are like really it's definitely dark. The dark areas are really that. I mean, it's like even like darker than like
he did explain though why they showed a lot of those areas, like the darker areas, and he was just like, it's because that's what we had ready to show in development. And you don't even think about that necessarily. Obviously, MVG probably does from his point of view. It's like, oh, this is not going to break if we put it on stage. Let's show that.
I saw it. I get that. But it was just good to see some of, like, even in that PAX and also with this footage, some of the other areas too, and like some of the gameplay, the icon battles look super dope. The only thing is like, you don't have a normal party. You do have people that join you, like I think periodically at times. It would have been cool if it was like you, probably like a female companion, like another party member that's like a set party member, and like the dog. So like just like a team of 3 that's always rolling, then maybe you can have other people join in. I would have liked that maybe, but I mean, I don't know what else they're going to do in the game though. And there are going to be companions that do join you at various different times, but you are jumping from, in his different ages. So it's obviously going to be different people, but the game looks cool though. I'm buying it day one. So.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Sean, what do you think about Final Fantasy 16?
I've already been sold on the game. I didn't watch the presentation. I actually had completely forgotten that it was a thing.
Hold on a minute.
What?
You're trying to tell me you're not a Nintendo YouTuber and you completely forgot about this?
I was busy working on the new thing that I bought.
Is it a Nintendo thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like a Nintendo YouTuber over there.
No, I watched Max's video on it. Yeah, that's a day one purchase. I've been excited for it.
I'm going to MVG. All right, MVG, what do we think?
I thought it was
Honestly,
really good. It looked really cool.
I actually
No.
didn't watch it either. So
Good. You didn't
I'm-
need to.
I'm sold on the game. I've been sold on the game for a while, so I didn't really feel like I needed to watch this trailer, this event. But yeah, I'm playing the game day one when it comes out. Excited.
Okay. Yeah, I am curious how it's going to go over with fans, reviewers, and all of this with the action-based combat, because we've worked further and further away from traditional turn-based, which really just the last time it actually existed in its purest form, I guess, would be Final Fantasy X. Since then, it's been you get the Gambit system, you then the MMO, I guess technically, but 13 you control just one person, and then you go to 15, and that was almost action to the point where people that's kind of what it was perceived as. But
That's an action RPG. I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but it's an action RPG.
this is interesting. So, Josie, I didn't even necessarily think of this, but you're going to Final Fantasy VII, which is like a pure turn-based game, has the active battle time system, but it is turn-based. Have you played a lot of turn-based games outside of like Pokemon and stuff, or is it mostly Pokemon?
Well, a little bit. I played Fire Emblem, which is like it's not necessarily turn-based as much. It's more like strategy, but similar-esque. And then I've played Live Alive, and I loved that game. That was like one of my favorite games of last year. Yeah. So that's mostly my experience with turn-based. I've played some like random one-off things that I can't really remember. And actually, I played Earthbound.
What about
finished Earthbound,
Josie? Have you played Mario Rabbids 2? Is it 2 that's turn-based? One of them's turn-based.
Yeah, I haven't played the second.
Yeah.
Well, they're both kind of like real-time
XCOM.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the first one, sort of. I didn't love it. But I played a little bit of Super Mario RPG, like a while ago.
That's hardcore turn-based.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's why I didn't finish
would-
it. But I'll get through it. I'm not like super well versed with it, but we'll
Okay,
see.
so you're hearing about this Final Fantasy game, and now it's more action. I mean, it's basically an action game at this point. It's Devil May Cry and all this. That's more appealing to you than the turn-based stuff, because a lot of the, I guess, older fans of Final Fantasy thought the opposite. They see it's action, they're not happy. You, being a bit newer to this series, you hear action, you're like, okay, cool. This is more interesting.
Yeah, really, when I was more like aware of the franchise as like a modern thing was Crisis Core, which I thought looked really cool.
Good game.
Because
Yeah,
of
it's a good game.
the gameplay and stuff. I thought it looked really nice. And I was like, oh wait, I thought this was a turn-based franchise, and so I'm definitely looking into this game. We'll see. But
I'm moving my estimate to over 15 million copies for 16 now. I think the younger generation is going to jump on this game. They're all on
yeah, a lot of people I know think it looks really cool.
All right, see, there
and
we go.
they're not even really big video game people in general, but it just looks
Interesting. Okay, see. All right, yeah, I'm going to 15 million plus for 16.
Ooh, that would be. How long do you think they'll take to hit that? What's
I would go
the?
I'll say 3 years.
Oh, okay, over 3. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a system seller that Sony tries to push. Like, that's the game's job at this point until Spider-Man 2. But I think it'll show up in Sony's marketing and stuff like that too.
Do you think that there is going to be potentially a like poaching type of deal? Because like you have FF7 Remake Part 2 coming out. So are people still gonna buy that when that one comes out? And what if that one's way more impressive?
Well, I also think 16 is gonna go to PC. That'll show up there.
Yeah.
And I think it'll do pretty well on PC. I don't know if it'll get the Epic Games deal. I kind of prefer them just to drop it everywhere, put it on Steam, go to Steam Deck and all this stuff too. And I think that will probably get a couple million sales from that, just because it's a big deal. It's going to PC. So it'll need both of those install bases. But I kind of feel like this could be that game that people look at as, I mean, I'd say a true next gen game, because there are already PS5 only games that exist out there, even from Sony. But this looks like they're gonna be pushing that PS5 pretty hard. So maybe people buy it along with their PS5, even for Christmas or holidays, or just getting a PS5 this year. And this past quarter, I think the talk is that Sony's going to turn in some crazy number. Like apparently it's being talked about as the best selling system ever made in this previous quarter.
Yeah,
like ever.
The sales have been really good the past quarter. So that, especially in the US and Europe, that God of War bundle has been doing fantastic.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like there's gonna be a lot of newer PS5 owners who are looking around for something, and maybe they hone in on 16, and that's just because Sony's pushing it really hard right now too. So
yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see if FF7 Remake Part 2 comes out, and if it's better, like if it's like a lot better than 16 somehow, you know, like what people like will people shift over and start just like I'm gonna buy that instead, or is it still gonna be, because those games are gonna be out relatively, they're gonna be out within a year of each other probably, you know?
I would say so. Yeah, I think I would assume 7 Remake Part 2 Rebirth, or I think that's probably first half of next year.
Yeah, it's
I can see
either
that.
You know, it's probably gonna be first half of next year, so probably spring or something like that. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited though, man. I'm looking forward to both of them.
On average, how long is it to get through like modern ones?
So I think like for example this one, I think they were talking about 35 hours for a standard playthrough, and then if you want to do everything, it's like 80 hours or something. 7. How long did it take me to be 7?
The original 7?
Yeah, I feel like that's like I have to double check how long that, because it was 3 discs. I feel like it was like 25 to 30 hours, but you can fast forward through stuff, Josie, in your version of it on the Switch, so it might be shorter than that because you can fast forward battles, you can do all this stuff. But the thing people really like about 7 is kind of the storyline that you play through. It's a pretty good story, I'll say that, and it's branched off to all kinds of other versions of the game, and then it made everyone really mad with Final Fantasy 7 Remake. So well, people are really invested in it.
Made everyone mad?
A lot of people mad.
People get mad at video games?
Yeah. Hey, and then Josie, when you get that PS5, you get Final Fantasy 7 Remake. There you go.
Yeah.
That's more action based.
Yeah.
Let's Evan, we got Discord questions over there.
Yeah, still got a few left. Who should do Yoshi's voice in the next Mario movie? Wrong
Yoshi
answers
shouldn't have a
only.
voice.
Wrong answers
Yoshi's
only.
voice.
Wrong answers only.
Zendaya.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, that's a good one. I like Danny DeVito. Zendaya.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. All right, that's good too.
Joe Pesci.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You have another Discord question, Evan?
For those on the cast that have played some of the Dragon Quest games, which one is your favorite?
The Dragon Quest games, I liked. Well, the most recent one was really good. 11.
Yeah, that was good.
I played through that twice actually. I remember I got the PS4 first drop, then I got it again on the Switch.
What was the big one? 8.
I liked 8. I was gonna say 8. 8 on the PS2 was pretty good.
I put a lot of time into, was it 9 Sentinels of the Starry Sky?
The DS.
DS.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yep, I liked 8 and then 11. I think those. I thought those were pretty good.
8 and 11 for me. Really good.
Yeah, another one, Evan.
Yeah.
Can I real quick? Sorry, real quick. Can I get you guys' opinion on the music in Dragon Quest? I get roasted because I say I do not like Dragon Quest.
You don't
music.
like it? Oh, you don't like the 11 where they have the big track that blares when you first turn it on?
I don't like Dragon Quest music.
No,
I don't
really?
like a lot of Dragon Quest music.
It's very upbeat. It's very, very, very positive. I think they call it victorious.
Too many trumpets. Too many
trumpets. Oh,
kind of corny. I don't know. This is kind of corny to me.
I guess
man.
it's kind of like it feels very traditional.
You want more strings, less brass is what you're looking for.
There's like no swag whatsoever in the music.
I mean, it's kind of barges into your room when it starts playing. It's pretty it's pretty in your face.
Sean called it Batman, like the Batman theme,
Like,
and
no,
I'm
like
like, and now I can't unhear it. So screw you for doing that.
Yes. Very 60s Batman.
All right, we'll go
I
with.
can't unhear it, dude.
Which one of these dormant Sega franchises do you think would be most suited for a complete reboot in 2023? Shining Force, Golden Axe, Space Harrier, Afterburner, or Altered Beast?
Oh,
Shining Force.
Yes,
Give me Shining
Altered
Force.
Beast isn't good. Okay, it's not a good game.
they would have to completely. That would have to be. I mean, completely revamped. They would not be able to.
Didn't they do that? Wasn't there an Altered
Yes,
Beast?
and it was not good. It was not good.
So what were my other options?
Shining
Force, Golden Axe, Space Harrier, Afterburner, Altered Beast. So Altered Beast just off the table. Right.
I mean, Afterburner Climax was really cool, but that was just a small digital game. So you could kind of go with like an Ace Combat route with that. But no, I mean, Shining Force is clearly the best answer.
Seems like, I mean, it's got a good name. It feels like you could make it like this really big, epic, adventure. That could be a good one.
Golden Axe would be kind of cool if they like brought it back in some 2D HD kind of style.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they got .emu or someone to do that in the pixel style, that'd be
Like
kind
the
of
Streets
cool.
of Rage kind of style. I think something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Very nice. What's another one, Evan?
Oh, we'll keep going. All right.
Why not? Yeah.
Keep going.
Why do companies keep trying gaming as a service? If besides Genshin Impact and typical shooters, nobody seems to have made any successful business outside the existing big players.
Because they see the existing big players and they think, well, we could do that.
We want that money. That's what they're thinking right now. And one of them, I mean, the idea is one of them will get it eventually because the other ones that are running right now didn't exist, so long ago.
Yeah.
We're saying, MG?
I was going to say, it's like doing YouTube videos and you're trying to hit trending,
Yeah.
You want to keep doing it till you hit trending. Same thing here with live service games. There's money to be made, but unfortunately...
They just waste a lot of money, time, effort.
Yep.
They just waste a lot doing it. Like, I'm seeing Suicide Squad. That looks like a massive waste of time for Rocksteady right now. And oh, gosh. I made Rocksteady do that for 8 years. Gosh.
Not doing that one. So
wait, what are you saying about Rocksteady?
Suicide Squad's coming out in February.
So, I mean,
they made him spend 8 years on that game now. Oh,
you should have assumed that it was a good game because Rocksteady always makes good stuff.
I feel like
Well, talking about that
too. Arcane never misses, I was told.
Hey, Arcane's gonna overcome. Redfall's gonna come out. It's gonna be a clean 81. Go ahead, Evan. Where's
talking about Suicide Squad? What do publishers hope to achieve by delaying inherently dead on arrival games, and how is delaying the game supposed to achieve it?
I have no idea what they're doing with Suicide Squad. Apparently, they're going to try to remove the always online component, and it's going to take them until February to do it. Or that's just what's being talked about now. But I feel like everyone's just speculating now.
You know what they should have done? Is they actually should have made a follow-up to a Batman game, so we know what to expect. And we know
Batman's involved. Batman is involved.
Batman's in Suicide Squad.
We've seen
it. You don't play as Batman. It's not a Batman game.
Just make the Superman game.
They should have made a new Batman game. Like, instead of us getting Gotham Knights it should have been Rocksteady, so we know it was going to be dope because they made a bunch of dope Batman games before.
Just need to know who stood up in the boardroom and said it's Suicide Squad. Obviously, like,
has Suicide Squad ever even had a good game?
They don't even have good movies.
They had one of the first animated movie before the lives were actually really
the Assault on Arkham was good.
Was so
that
good.
was an animated movie. I get what he's right though.
I like the last one. I like the one from 2021.
All the things they could have done with Rocksteady, and they Suicide Squad. That's the one. Gosh, just make sure Captain Boomerang has an assault rifle. All right, you have another one, Evan?
Nah, we're good. We're good on that.
Okay,
I'm not doing the other
that's
one.
fine. Let's talk about Sega, because this might be the most shocking news of the week for basically everyone. And it's not even that it's happening; it's that Sega is the one apparently has $1 billion to spend. And this was according to the Wall Street Journal, who had the scoop on this. Japan's Sega Sammy Holdings is nearing a deal to acquire Rovio Entertainment, the company behind Angry Birds mobile game, for about $1 billion. This is from the Wall Street Journal, reporting on Friday. The Tokyo-based Sega could finalize the deal to complete the acquisition of Rovio by early next week. $1 billion for the Angry Birds company.
Is Angry Birds still like popping?
It is. But the thing that's really weird about this is the company that got destroyed on Twitter because classic Angry Birds is too popular and it doesn't have microtransactions. They delisted it. Play the new one. I am a little surprised to hear that it's $1 billion for this company. As much as I'm surprised that Sega has the money to do it, or Sega Sammy Holdings even. I guess we're thinking of Sega like the video game company straight up, but there's obviously a very large company outside of just the video game sector for them.
Corporate entity.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what the play is here. Just to get it. Are they looking at mobile like we're seeing Sony and Microsoft and even kind of Nintendo look at it, where they're seeing just a big market that just untapped for them? Because Rovio is their entrance way in, obviously, if they have Angry Birds. But what else are they doing?
Persona Cross Angry Birds. Let's go. I'm ready.
They can do it.
You can launch Sonic as like a little thing.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Okay, maybe that's the answer for Angry Birds. They just need Sega's characters. They could have the Super Monkey Ball characters in there. You launch them across the... Okay, see? See, all right, maybe it does make sense. $1 billion, they'll make that back in the first week. I'm just trying to figure out of all the things Sega would do, it's interesting because we keep talking about Sega being bought by people. Sega's doing the buy-in now. $1 billion, Angry Birds. How you feel, Sean? That's what Sega's doing.
It's fucking dumb.
Which
If it makes some money so that I can get some franchises I want back, okay.
Yeah, which game would you have rather seen that much money go to?
Oh, I mean, no, it's not even one game. It's you use that money to invest in your companies, like and you license out your properties to places like.
Give us the Sean business plan. Let's go.
I have a video on my channel where I talk about how it would help fix Sega, and it's a very good thing. You start small, you make smaller adjustments, and then they grow into something bigger. You have long-term plans. Sega just seems to they just seem to not realize what people want. You know, why is the Dreamcast Classic not out? Why?
That's a great question.
Why did you do Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder on Arcade 1-Up, but you didn't do a House of the Dead? And they could do guns because they did Big Buck, and they could do Daytona USA because they did virtual racing. Why haven't you worked?
Do you have room for another arcade cabinet?
I'll make room.
Okay.
He did just clear out a lot of games.
Yeah, I got more room now. But it's crazy to me. Like, there's so many just little steps that they can do to not only, potentially generate revenue, but to, potentially fix their imaging. And then like a game like Sonic Frontiers, I think that was a huge step in the right direction. Now you have something to build on with that. People are excited about Sonic again. Sonic's doing well in the movie theaters and stuff like that. It's like they released 2 Sonic movies without a game to go alongside of it.
That's a good point.
This is weird to me. This is weird. I don't understand it. And I think a lot of it has to do with Sammy more so than Sega.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. As them looking at it as almost like a company next to Sega.
But I mean, the problem with Sega, when you go back to the prominence of Sega's times, when you go back to when they were, at their peak, they didn't get along with each other. Sega of America and Sega of Japan hated each other, and they never worked on anything together. And that's why there were such huge differences in so many different things, from the market to the types of games that came out to the types of games that got released and, imported or imported to other markets. Like, it was just crazy.
So you said that they should have released Sonic games during the Sonic 1 and 2 movie. Like, what games are you? Because they were making Sonic Frontiers, right? So what, you wanted them to make a game to go like a Sonic the movie game or something like that? Is that what you?
Yeah, I think they should have done what Nintendo should have done too, which is just come up with a 2D Sonic or a 2D Mario game to go, because it's easier to approach. Like I see it now with the family and stuff. They just want to play 2D Mario. That's it. The 3D stuff's too hard. There's
I don't know,
more
Sega's
than one or two directions or something.
Sega's track record with quality sometimes. So to rush out games just to hit
Sonic
movie
Mania
deadlines.
2.
I mean, didn't most of the movie game or games based off of movies are kind of trash, aren't they? Like, most of the time. Like you remember we used to always get those licensed movie games?
Oh yeah.
They were always bad.
I mean, yeah, but
Hey, X-Men was good. The one with Wolverine
was good.
The movie. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, it is good. The home console release is good. The arcade.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad movie games. I don't know if those are known for their quality.
Batman
but-
Forever.
That's 30 years. That's 30 years ago. I'm thinking in a more modern setting. You do something like on the scale of a Sonic Mania or something. Like, let's be real. It's probably not that hard to make a Sonic Mania style game. I mean, people seem to make their own fucking Sonic the Hedgehog games every single week, so yeah, I just think there's a lot, and it's not even necessarily, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like John was saying with Nintendo, they should have had a Mario game. Like, yeah, maybe they probably should, but they don't need it as much as a company like Sega needs it.
Okay.
All right, let me go over to some of the super chats here. It's from Colson, who says, off topic, but what do you guys think about Fable ever coming out? Girlfriend and I are very hopeful. Oh, Fable will come out. They'll push it out the door one way or the other.
Actually,
Not for a while though.
I'm hearing
Yeah,
2025 from John.
2025. I heard it here. Thumb says, MVG, what do you think about the Rust language for developing a game engine.
Rust?
Rust
I
language.
don't really know much about Rust. I've heard good things about it, but in general, most game development languages is going to be C or C++, so I would recommend you probably look at those.
Jimmy says, with Redfall news and Minecraft Legend getting a 68 on PC and a 72 on Xbox, so much for Xbox best year in gaming. And they still got Forza and Starfield coming up. Forza is almost always a guaranteed like 90 at this rate, 90 plus. Davey says the weakest part about Breath of the Wild was the enemy variety and mid-boss fights. The Divine Beast bosses were all too similar, and same with the enemies inside.
Damn, tough crowd.
No, I mean the Divine Beasts were kind of. It's not the highlight of the game. The highlight of the game is other parts of it, like exploring the world.
Also, there was a good Batman Forever game, John.
Oh,
so you can go fuck yourself. The arcade game that came out on the Sega Saturn was.
Well, I rented the Sega Genesis one. Okay.
Well,
that was a terrible weekend.
It was. The fucking. What
it was a wasted A on the spelling test.
What's the first puzzle in the game where it's like comes back around and then it comes to you? I sat at that puzzle for fucking ever.
Dude, there's one part where you walk up and it does not tell you what to do.
Yeah, you gotta use the fucking
the grappling
start button on the Genesis and but the exact point, it's got to be right below it in the middle.
Yes.
That game sucks. But
That game's
Batman
fucking
Forever.
the arcade Batman Forever, which was also released on Saturn, fucking great beat 'em up.
Okay, I haven't played that one, but I just remember the Super Nintendo one and me playing the hell out of it, but me being very disappointed. I actually still have the cartridge on Super Nintendo.
Good movie, by the way. Very underrated.
All right, Derek.
It is. What are you talking about? You have Tim Burton overseeing it, and yes, it wasn't as dark as his movies were, but it was a very solid film.
It's goofy. It's fine.
It's fine. I think it's very underrated. Good cast.
All right
This
then.
is from Derek. Says, are you concerned the world of Tears of the Kingdom will feel too empty instead of lived in, and how will it be compared to Elden Ring? I assume Elden Ring comparisons are definitely going to happen at some point with it.
For a while.
It didn't look empty from what I'm seeing. It looks like there's a lot of different stuff to do. So
it showed that there's like more towns and like people taking refuge from like destruction. So I don't know. It seems pretty lived in, pretty fleshed.
Yeah, there's even a scene where you're like buggying them, like connected to your horse in the trail.
Yeah.
You're hanging out with the locals.
And
Like a
there
vibe.
was one area where there was a bunch of guardians, but now there's actually people there that are taking, that have like tents and stuff. So it seems like they're improving. And like I said, not to get into the spoilers, the art book, but art book.
Metro says, anyone notice the Princess Mononoke vibes in Tears of the Kingdom? I did not. That's not something I noticed. MTS says, do you think we'll get to fight the 3 dragons in Tears of the Kingdom?
Looks like it.
What the Hydra that they showed?
Nintendo had an advert for that. Basically, they got online early, and
you absolutely fight. I mean,
you get to fight them.
yes, you fight that. It's a boss battle.
Kieran says, hope Ganondorf is difficult final boss, unlike Breath of the Wild.
Who says he's the final boss?
Oh yeah,
I like it. I like it.
Maybe something else.
Shake says, can't wait for Tears of the Kingdom. I'll be taking off work that entire weekend and starting it up at 12 a.m. Thursday night, Friday morning. Let's go. GP says, multiplayer Qbert. Man, what?
Stop it. I don't understand Qbert. You know how many fucking old arcade 1-up men are like, we needed a Qbert arcade 1-up. Nobody wants a fucking Qbert arcade 1-up. Stop being old and crusty.
You ever see the movie Pixels where Qbert gets turned into a hot girl at the end that a character gets with?
No, I haven't.
It's a terrible movie.
There you go. Watch. There's something to watch for your weekend.
Oh, it is a terrible movie. You should watch it, Sean.
All right.
And then I need the Twitter review all in one tweet.
Okay, it's probably fuckery.
Denizen says, anyone that played Breath of the Wild and enjoyed it know they are getting Tears of the Kingdom. This need to be convinced that the sequel is worth getting is ridiculous. When has the Zelda ever made a lackluster? I assume when has the Zelda team ever made a lackluster Zelda game?
Tell him, Jordan.
Me?
I'm making fun of.
I heard those CDI games were pretty rough.
Those ones I heard definitely.
I just don't understand the mentality of like automatically assuming this is gonna be the best thing ever. It's like, okay, there's a chance, there's a good chance of
It's
it.
people
but
getting caught in hype
something.
cycles. That's just what it is.
That's weird to me.
They just love it.
Kevra says, "What's the?"
I don't know. It's Breath of the Wild. It's just like Ragnarok. People got hyped. Everybody already knew Ragnarok was going to be great, right? Like,
No
No,
one
no.
did until they had a
No?
controller in their hand and they played it and found out it was great in that
I'm pretty
moment.
sure most people.
No,
I saw
people-
videos.
They
of
didn't
everyone
know,
being,
there was
they
so many videos
assumed.
of people saying this looks like $70 DLC.
And those videos were dumb as hell. And those videos were,
Get
and
'em,
I called
Jordan.
it on this,
Get
I
'em.
called it here. Those videos were stupid as hell when they dropped it. When people were saying it's $70 DLC, I said it's stupid as hell because this game is going to be incredible. They're just going to take the base game and make it better.
Alright.
That's exactly what they did.
Just like
Damn.
Mario Strikers, because all the Mario Striker games are awesome. The new Mario Strikers game is gonna be fucking great.
Oh,
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's gonna be fucking great. Look at the other Mario Strikers games; they're fucking great. And the thing was a piece of shit. But that's
It's
okay.
not like there was
Just
12 years
assume.
in between. It's not like there was 12 years in between there or anything like that. You know, it's not.
So that's more time. That's you said 6
It's
years
true.
because of Breath of the Wild. That was gonna means Tears of
No.
the Kingdom is gonna be the greatest fucking thing ever. They had double the fucking time, and they couldn't give me 4-on-4 online. But
Development.
you could give me a
Sean,
fucking
Sean,
4-on-4.
it wasn't in
Splatoon.
development for 12 years.
You don't
It
know
wasn't
that.
in
Could have been.
development for
Could have
12
been.
It wasn't. It wasn't because they were
Oh,
making Luigi's
gosh.
Mansion and other
You know
games.
what? Like this is a topic for the after show.
Why do you guys got to keep bringing up strikers like that, man? I left
Now
that
kids.
behind.
Fuck
Left that
strikers.
in the
We
past.
did a whole fucking bullshit with the fucking jerseys, waste of $50 fucking or whatever the fuck I paid for it.
Imagine comparing Mario Strikers to Legend is like one of the greatest games. The Mario Strikers old games
Mario,
don't even
it's,
know what it
it's
is
a
good.
Mario game. I'm not
God.
if you want to assume shit is always going to be great because of the pedigree, go right the fuck ahead. But I'm sure there's been shitty ass Batman movies that have come along, but all those other Batman movies are great. Yeah, then you got Batman and fucking Robin, an absolute piece of shit. I don't understand the
The amount
mentality
of
of just assuming that everything is great.
The amount of fallacies here is unbelievable, but I'm
There
just
is
gonna
no
leave it alone.
fallacies.
Just gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Which is from Kevra says, which Nintendo movie do you want to see get adapted next? I just launched the first 2 episodes of a 17 episode series called How to Adapt The Legend of Zelda. So obviously my pick is Nintendogs.
The correct answer is Luigi's Mansion.
That could be a fun.
That would
one.
actually be pretty fun. I
Pretty
like
fun
the
one.
idea of that.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome movie.
R rating and everything, right?
Yep.
All right.
I want a
good.
Star Fox movie, but I want the animation to look like puppets.
Ah, okay.
Like
That's just what I
Kubo
want.
and the 2 strings type deal.
Yeah, like that. Like like stop motion, but kind of like more like fuzzy. Like I don't know. Like doesn't look like claymation.
What about Team
I don't know how to
America?
describe
Team
it.
America style? That'd be pretty good.
Maybe a little more. Maybe a little more than that.
Just a little
but,
more
you
effort.
know, a little more effort, but you know, it's an interesting movie. Haven't rewatched that in a long time. Holy shit.
Matthew says, looks like Pyramid of Power rising from the desert. Tijo says, anybody remember the days where we only had 3 save slots, save games, and had to split them among the family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Y'all had a family.
That was a joke.
Hungry says, did anyone play Chia? It was way better than I thought it'd be. Yes, I did. And then they added the 60 FPS patch afterwards. So
Interesting. Matt.
demolition. Yeah. Xbox thinks that everyone wants better graphics and they leave performance as a second thought. That's what I believe anyway. Well, I mean, like Halo has a high frame rate mode, so I don't know if it's just I don't know what happened with this. This Redfall thing is weird. Let's see. Not a bootlicker says I'm gonna shave for Zelda Tears release day, and they have a bunch of goats, and then said I mean shave everything. There you go. Minute says, anyone interested in the new Tintin game? You know what? People keep telling me it's actually pretty good. I think it's on Game Pass. I think I just haven't gotten around to checking.
They made
it
an
out.
Adventures of Tintin game.
I thought, is that the one I'm thinking of here?
Is that
The fucking French fuck?
That's a solid soundbite for anyone who can clip that.
Isn't that who that is? Tintin, the French guy? He has those fucking Super Nintendo. I remember the first time I got a modded system when they modded back when I worked at GameStop and we modded my original Xbox. I remember seeing these Tintin games and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was like this weird, like a funky Winker Bean looking motherfucker. Like weird as hell.
what?
What?
Are we not talking about the French dude?
No, but what the...
Okay, right there. Adventures of Tintin. Yes, that's the fucking guy.
Who else
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
like we
you're
just
trying
watched
to-
Sean cancel himself with a
describe
word
it
that we're
here.
not sure about? Like, what's happening?
I don't know if that what. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone.
G-Man says, how much is Xbox paying John to simp their products?
$13.
Yeah, John, how much are they paying you?
Yeah.
Because I
Same,
want that
same,
bad
same
too.
thing they're paying
And can
MBG
you-
to
can I
I
make
kick
thought,
some
we
of
were, I
that?
thought we were Xbox haters. What happened? Look at us now.
It just depends on the topics.
I mean, we
Depends
just,
on the day
we
and the
just beat up
topics.
Redfall for a solid 25 minutes. I don't know.
I didn't. I like it. I'm gonna about it.
Tintin was the dog? guy.
Colson says Fable with 7 question marks. Disruptor says, hey guys, nice to catch the podcast live. What do you guys think of the dark and darker situation with Iron Mace and Nexon? Iron Mace released a playtest through torrenting on Discord.
I'm not familiar with it.
Unaware of that. I'm not familiar either. Interesting. I'll look into it, Disruptor. I'll see what's going on there. Iron Mace Nexon. Beautiful Ed says, why hasn't Ubisoft brought any of the Prince of Persia games to Switch? Seems like a no-brainer. Well, they got to try to figure out their current.
Yeah, they can't even bring a remake of Prince of Persia to systems.
Yeah. Papa says, any MGS3 remake talk? No, because they're talking about the Twitter thing that was going on. That's apparently for something else.
Mm-hmm.
But MGS3 remake, maybe it'll get shown this summer. We'll see. Zbat says, let OJ cook. Like a little chef character here. There you go. Uncharted Wolf says, do y'all think Redfall at 30 is because of the Series S? I do not actually. No. I think Redfall will be 60 also on the Series S. It might be like 1080p or something, but I think they'll get 60 out of it. Snoopy says, rip Nate, gone but not forgotten. Nate will be around. He works on Saturday nights now.
Who?
Nathaniel, Nate
The Hate.
the Hate.
Mm-hmm.
Joel says, love you guys. Should have seen OJ in the pre-show. He was pretty fired up. Loved it. OJ, you rock. From Joel.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Tijo says, how long do you give until MiHoYo puts Sky Islands in Genshin and gives the traveler the ability to rewind time?
They were already in there.
It's happening.
Like it was already there. Like technically, this is now the reverse, where it seems like Zelda's getting it. It's like, oh, all right.
Josh says, once you fuse it, it's going to break after 10 hits anyway. Not sure it's a solution. And you can fuse another one.
You lose
right?
it.
You fuse another
Yeah.
one.
I don't know. He hit multiple times and it didn't seem like it was close to breaking after he just fused like a crappy rock and a stick. So I'm guessing the bigger, like better weapons will be much more durable.
Hey, we'll get those durability tests. Don't worry. She says, Clive is your world saver. Square's naming jokes. CJ says, Final Fantasy 16 deceiving. I think icons are a small part of the game.
That's not what they said. At least we'll see. They said that there's multiple icon battles and they are a major factor. Like
I mean, it looked pretty crazy. They showed a lot of that.
Yeah.
It looked like there were all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff happening there. I don't
It
know.
seems like it's a core part of the game.
Seems like a
from
very
what they-
expensive part of the game to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's going to be multiple icon battles and they are going to evolve as you play them, as they showed off. So, and like there's different genres of icon battles. You know, like you have like shooters, like what was like a shoot 'em up kind of phase. You have like a beat 'em up, like a kaiju battle phase. So it's pretty cool.
Did you have a revelation, Sean? You started saying something.
No, because it'll interact with a super chat that you have coming up.
Okay. Enrique says, hi guys, question. I grew up around PCs, never had a console till I became independent. Any advice to help me improve at shooters while using gamepads rather than keyboard and mouse? Much love to you guys.
Give into the aim assist. That's why it's there.
Yes, yeah, definitely. You want to use the aim assist.
Just
absolutely,
figure
for
out what
consoles.
it does and just maximize that.
Phil says, can we please end the console fanboy wars this year? Most of us are 30 to 40-year-old men
No.
now, and this has gone from funny to sad. We aren't kids on the playground anymore. Love the show.
It's gonna keep going. It's gonna get sadder.
Hey, Twitter has only accelerated it. Evan says, do you think Final Fantasy 16 or the rumored leaked Final Fantasy Tactics remake will sell better? Oh, 16 will sell better. Yeah.
Over tactics.
over tactics, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I'm excited for Tactics though. Tactics is gonna be
I'm
a
excited
day
for
one
Tactics,
pickup.
man.
I'm on it. I might buy that game twice actually, depending on the
Yeah,
cost.
I mean, Tactics is gonna sell
Come on.
or nowhere near as good as Final Fantasy 16.
Mike says, I heard Sony was infested in stopping the Sega deal due to Angry Birds being such a huge seller. Sony Pony Poacher says, talk about Persona 3 Remake. Domain was found. Oh, they're definitely remaking Persona 3. That's not. I feel like everyone already knows this by now. It's very odd how it's leaked out constantly.
Yeah. I made a video on it, so you can check it out if you want to hear my thoughts on it. But yeah, Persona 3 Remake looks awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And it's a game that needed to, I don't know if it needed to be remade, but it's pretty old at this point. Like the version that everybody wants, like Persona 2, Persona 3 FES.
Yeah.
Like that's a PS2 game.
Yep.
So it's
they ported like the portable one over, and it's like
yeah, exactly. They ported the portable one over, which people didn't like as much. So I think that this Persona 3 remake is a good idea. I'm interested to see how much what gets retained or not, like the content, because there is a lot of content in Persona 2 FES. So
let me go around here as I finish up some of these super chats here. Also check Streamlabs, make sure I got it all. Let me go around. Let's start with Josie. Josie, thanks for joining us. Where can everyone find you? Any plans coming up?
You can find me on YouTube at Josie Woe. I just dropped a Kirby video, and I'm planning on reviewing the new Kirby game again. I stream a good amount, so come hang out. It's fun. Yeah. I also have a Twitter, same name, Josie Woe. Thank you.
Her link's in the description. Check her out. Becoming YouTuber over there. Check her out.
4,000 subs coming up, Josie.
Yeah, I'm 20 away. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Get it to 4K. Let's go.
You'll hear that? She's 20 away from 4,000 subs. So one of you listeners could be the one that pushes her over the 3,999 mark. There you go. Let's see. T-Joe says, for what it's worth, I sometimes play games while listening to SpawnCast. In fact, I listened to it earlier while capturing video of a mod I just made for Sonic Origins.
Whoa.
Pascal says, diehard Zelda fan, and I thought Breath of the Wild was a boring game with no reward for exploring. Besides shrines, Tears of the Kingdom looks more of the same. It needs dungeons and items. We're still trying to figure out the dungeons
Disagree.
side of things. Hellman says, replaying Breath of the Wild, the Wii U tablet was an amazing Sheikah slate, much better on Wii U versus Switch.
Well, I mean, it was designed for it.
Yeah, that's what the Sheikah slate was. It was a Wii.
They removed a lot of stuff too. That was the interesting thing.
Corey says, at least I got my RGT jersey. See, Sean, look at that.
Yeah, I have one too. We're the only two people in the world with
making dreams come true over there. Let's see, MVG, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G and YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. I have a video coming out on Monday, and I also got this in the mail, so I'll be checking this out on the channel pretty soon.
Whoa, what's that?
Xbox HD thing.
Yo, you installing that HD Plus?
Hell yeah, I am.
Are you? Oh, you'll have to tell me how that goes for you.
I'm gonna be doing that on the channel probably the next couple of weeks.
I'm honest. I'm curious how that does for you, because if you can do that, you should look into some of the other mods. Just try it, like some of the other HDMI ones where you solder to the chip. I'd be curious to see your take on that. That was. I feel like that was easier the Dreamcast and the N64. Yeah,
I haven't done the N64 one. I've done the PlayStation one, which almost destroyed me. I think I can do the Xbox one. I'm pretty familiar with the Xbox motherboard. So
I feel like I think that's right on the same level as that original PlayStation HDMI one. So I think it'd be okay. The Dreamcast one, that one might be the worst one. That one was pretty bad. I got really annoyed doing that.
I know my limitations when it comes to this stuff.
Dark Shadow says, which do you think will sell better despite releasing after Street Fighter 6 and before both Final Fantasy 16 and Sonic Origins plus Crash Team Rumble or Goodbye Volcano High?
Gee, who the fuck cares?
Which one is he asking? Who's gonna?
Which do you think will sell better
Goodbye
despite
Volcano
releasing
High?
after? Oh, Street Fighter 6 and before both Final Fantasy 16 and Sonic Origins plus Crash Team Rumble or Goodbye Volcano High.
Sonic Origins Plus will outsell
Okay, I see.
Those.
Yeah, I think so. I think Sonic Origins Plus. Yeah. Let's see. Jeffrey says, "Funky Winker Bean is a comic, deep cut reference RGT."
He's on. They have when they do the parade of the floats in The Simpsons. Bart complains that they're all shitty floats, and Marge is like, "What are you talking about? It's all the popular guys. Oh, there's Funky Winker Bean. There's the Noid. Avoid the Noid."
You really remember that, like Simpsons stuff, like line by line. Man.
Yeah.
Mint says Tintin is a great comic book character. the game coming this year is Tintin Cigars of the Pharaoh for PS4 and PS5. Check out the trailer after the show.
I did check it out, and it's published by Microids or whatever they're pronounced. And if you know anything about Microids, they're not the best in the world.
Loco says, for MVG, do you think the Tears of the Kingdom's increased scale with the Skyworld would have been a nightmare to implement on aging Switch hardware?
Yeah, I mean, it's technically very impressive, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it once the game comes out. But from what we've seen so far, the seamless transitions between the sky and the ground without any loading means they got some really cool texture streaming technology in there. So yeah, I think it's.
Hey, they might be talented over there at that Zelda team.
Or Monolith Soft as well. You know.
Yeah, I've heard Monolith Soft. They're pretty good at that kind of stuff, huh?
Not bad.
Kat says, opinions on Doom 3 and Remake ever.
Doom 3 is fucking awesome.
Doom 3 is it's still good.
It sure was the third one.
This is very different.
Shut up, Fringe.
Papa says, could Elden Ring DLC shadow drop on Tears of the Kingdom? Imagine. No, I think the Elden Ring DLC stuff, I think that's further out than we realized. So it's interesting because they just kind of announced it, and then it's like it might be end of this year. Let's see. Let me go to OJ Player Essence. Where can everyone find you?
I mean, right here, YouTube Player Essence. I've got some cool Tears of the Kingdom videos that I already released. And more coming as well. Also, it seems like there could be something for those who like Xenoblade. There could be something coming up for Xenoblade, so look out for the Last Wave DLC. Okay. So I'll have some content on that potentially. So the Monado, yes, he's actually coming back. This time it's not a joke. Shulk is actually.
And I heard he's older and they hate each other and they're gonna fight.
Who hates each other?
I thought the guy from the first game and the guy from the second game now are older and they fight because they hate each other.
No. They're working together and fighting somebody that was the architect.
But do they start off hating each other?
Game. Huh?
But do they start off hating each other?
I don't know. That's the thing. They might. That'd be kind of cool if there's like a battle at the beginning. Fight. Yes, I want them to fight too.
I don't know anything about the games more than that, but I want them to fight.
You got a good plot setup, dude. I like it. No, besides, check out the channel. I stream every day and I edit videos. So watch my Xenoblade Nintendo RPG videos, Final Fantasy 16, all that stuff. Thank you for having me on, John.
Adam says, I know movie adaptations for video games can be hit and miss. With that said, what is the cast's thoughts on the rumor that popped up yesterday about James Wan directing a Dead Space adaptation?
You just make an Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
It's a great Dead Space movie.
Yeah, why not? I don't mind seeing it.
Make a good movie, though. They could.
Break says, should Xbox delay Redfall? We have Redfall squished in between Star Wars and Zelda on top of not having the best reception right now. Will Red fall into the same fate Titanfall did? By the way, happy B-Day, Josie.
Thank you.
No, they can't afford to do it.
They can't, because if they delay it, they're just going to put it right next to Starfield.
Yep.
So they're kind of stuck. Or remember, Forza's got to work its way in there too. So I think Redfall's just coming out. Like, that's it. It's just maybe they get that patch out 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, probably before the end of May, and then they're 60. But that's gonna be tough to get those people back. So, and Jordan Fringe.
That's me.
Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Jordan Fringe on YouTube. I got a bunch of videos coming out. I put out a video yesterday celebrating the release of my favorite era of Mega Man and the games that I got into, which were the Battle Network games. So I made a big video. I talked about the anime, the NT Warrior anime, the manga, the toys, the video games. I'm just a big fan of that era of Mega Man in general. So go check that video out if you're interested.
Did you get the Battle Network Legacy Collection?
I absolutely did.
Did you get it physically?
Absolutely.
Incredibly hard to find. No one has it around me. I had to order it online, and even then, it's like a 4 or 5 day wait just to get it. I don't know what happened.
People are coming back for it. People are like, hey, you know what? Grow up with these games. You know,
they barely made any copies too.
It seems like it.
But I mean, they're going to sell what they have. But it's actually doing really well, though. Like, from what I understand, from what they shipped out, it's doing well. Like Japan, it's doing extremely well in Japan too. Like the copies there are selling.
That's good. They did a lot for the games. In my head, I was like, oh, they're just gonna put all 10 games, all the 10 versions, on just the cartridge or whatever. And it's like There's a not H. I would call like HD, but they have like a nice looking version that isn't just the pixelated GBA games. Like it smooths out a lot of the pixelation. I'm like, it's actually, you know what? Kind of impressive. Glad they went the little extra mile to do a lot for that.
Shinru says,
Sean.
when can we expect a Super Mario game based off the Mario movie, based off the video game series? I wouldn't mind a game based off of it just for fun. Why not? Then
If they use that animation, it'd be pretty cool.
yeah, Papa says thoughts on Spider-Man 2 Multiverse. That'd definitely be a twist. We'll see if we get that. That seems like a lot for Spider-Man 2. Evan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Chimerix Project, and if you're into tabletop games, you can find me on YouTube at Chimerix Project as well. We're still focusing on Kill Team. Looking forward to 10th edition in the summer.
Okay, and then Sean.
YouTube.com/Dreamcast Guy. I'm going to no RGT after show. Come through. There's the link.
Okay, go check out Sean's after show. I'll hop on there too to hang out for a bit. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight on SpawnCast. We'll be back next Saturday at 9 p.m. Oh, Denzen says Sean the same way that you can say that the Tintin game will probably be bad because of the publisher. You could say Tears of the Kingdom will probably be good because Breath of the Wild Developers is all track. Oh my god. Okay,
we're really temping for Tintin.
Denizen, we'll carry the Tintin talk over to Sean's after show.
Maybe.
We'll see you guys next Saturday night. Thanks for tuning in.
Or not.
Think for yourself.
I don't know what this